welcome to Dope Check episode 17 with Ace the Stocksman, Tactical Rab, and the EU GOAT, Trey Zero. Guys, how are we feeling today? Exciting week of matches, a lot of new storylines, new narratives. What's happening? Rab, let's start with you. What's going on, man?
It's good to be back as always. I feel like things are starting to take shape, Ace, here, because the season's getting down to the business end. We've got another, bloody hell, how many more weeks of online qualifiers to go before we get to this damn major, but I can't wait for that one. But the storylines are seriously taking shape. We got some drama. We got some beef on the timeline. We've got some teams frauding it up online and probably frauding it up when we get to LAN as well. Some shocking performances this weekend. I was probably more animated in my video last night than I have been in a long time because I could not believe some of the shit that I was watching. So we have lots to discuss. Trey, what's good? We've got a new background today. You're already looking like you're, supporting the Ultra Boys.
Trey Shady back in the house.
Well, listen, they need some supporting because fuck me. All right. All right, let's just say that. Listen, I can't get roasted now. All right. They've been bopped. No, I'm not supporting. Purple's just my favorite color. Yeah, I'm back to blonde because Toronto's coming up and I need to look fucking amazing. The stubble's here. It's going tomorrow. I don't like it.
I'm a fan. I'm gonna say I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I currently don't feel great when I have it on. It's like one of those accessories where you don't want it. It's just there. So it's like a keychain. You get given it, but it's
I love keychains. The fuck.
Yeah. And that's why me and you are completely different. Pepsi wins every time. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I was trying to watch the matches.
Stupid.
But I was consumed by some X-Defiant gameplay. And every time I flicked onto a match, it was 3-0. Or someone was getting bopped. And that's why we're here to talk about it today. Because we're on Fraud Watch. Binoculars out, fellas.
Oh my
Fraud
god,
Watch is in.
We might need a special segment for Fraud Watch, but I mean, like, if it was its own segment, it would probably be over half the show. So,
and that's why it's going to be half the show.
Roosevelt, we might need a Fraud Watch overlay coming in soon because there are some frauds pulling up here. But before we get to the matches, the Fraud Watch, let's jump into a little drama. We love a little bit of spice to the show. First and foremost, we had a little bit of a, I don't know how you guys want to describe this with Carlos and Tristan Tate, right? About the topic of esports.
I thought this was kind of funny when I woke up and I saw this. I'm like, I didn't actually mention it in a video.
I'm gonna read it out, right? Here's the tweet, right? There's this old, this video, I think I'm pretty sure it's from a local LAN.
A couple of years ago now. Yeah, it's just Cheeto Wonga. You guys know Cheeto Wonga? Or wait, is that what he's called?
I think, what do they call him? The lower tier something or something like that. He's like the low tier god or something like that because he hosts. He's a good guy, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
I think he hosts like a lot of like open LAN events for the amateur players.
Yeah,
Cheeto was in this.
And basically, it's just them getting up, being just kind of hyped about winning and talking crap to each other. Then you have Tristan Tate quoting it, saying, "Esports cannot be called sports at all if this is what athletes look like. Everyone in this video is a loser. Everybody take away their devices and have them do anything in real life, and they would all score below average at everything. Ban the term esports," which us as gamers, esports fans, ex-players, reactions to that. I'm gonna start with Trey just because Trey was literally an esports athlete. Do you think that esports athletes should be called athletes or not?
Such a loser, Trey. Can't believe you.
I mean, do you call a darts player an athlete?
Hell yeah.
There you go. Luke Littler's bigger than me when I was, and he's fucking frying. For starters, yeah, there's things that Tate can't do that I can do. There's things that I can do that Tate can't. Like I can't do a pull-up. Tate probably can do a pull-up. But could Tate outgun me on a shipment? Absolutely not. Go smoke your cigar, buddy.
Man's got a point. Man's got a point.
I mean, personally,
where's my passport? Because that says P1 athlete. I get the same fucking P1 visa that a football player would get.
So that's actually a fair point, honestly. Like, I don't know. It's interesting to me because, first of all, this brother said E-sports. Like, I thought we'd figured this out like 5 years ago now that it ain't E-sports. It's just like, no one's writing E-male, are they?
Also, let's just There's G2 players. They've not got 15 girlfriends each. Like, let's just get it out.
Oh yeah. Like I know I have this on the screen for a second, but Carlos'
Wait, I didn't even
response to
read
this
this.
is so funny. He says in response to this, ban the esports term. I guarantee you this is not how professional players' behavior smell. These are low-level losers from below mediocre regional leagues competing in below mediocre video games. Damn, scathing. My players have
Damn, he
all
roasted cooked?
that's kind of deep.
Cheeto Wonga cooked?
Then it gets good here. My players have all 15 girlfriends each, but only my players. Every other team is full of virgins. Thoughts? Reactions? Rab? Trey? Are the G2
I'm not
boys
gonna-
built different?
I'm not going to speak on the whole virgins because no comment. But he wasn't lying about the mediocre game. Yeah, COD's very mediocre these days. So hopefully that they look at they look at Carlos and think, fucking hell, he's cooked. Maybe we need to sort it out. I don't know a single gamer that's got 15 girlfriends.
A single gamer or a single pro athlete? A single esports athlete? Which one?
Both.
The hell? I'm just saying.
That is a lot of work, man. Like, represent GG in the chat is cooking with her.
That's
Imagine
a lot of work.
juggling that.
Your whole life is essentially
my
juggling
God.
that, honestly. Oh my God. Okay, wait a minute. And then we have, so here's this opinion here. Then we have this from Jake Lucky on, I think he was interviewing Shaq, and then he was asking Shaq what he thought about
consider
esports
players.
So let's watch this really quick. It's a pretty good clip. I think it's a really good clip to see what a champion, one of the best athletes we've had ever, thinks about esports. So let me turn up the volume a little bit because I have the volume master. 1 second. There you go.
to also be athletes.
I do, and I want to commend you guys, and I'm proud of you guys. Athlete means different thing, but athlete means here. Like I did a show, it was called Shaq Versus. When I went to race with Dale Earnhardt, that was the hardest shit I've ever done in my life. I'm sitting in the car, and we ran there, bro. My body was so sore, I was like, God damn. When I went to swim against Michael Phelps, 15% of the game is physical and all that. Everything else is mental. So the things that you guys go through, that's why you guys don't really have a long life show. I think it's 3 to 5 to 6 years. Same thing with NBA, NFL. So yes, you guys are athletes. If you guys say you're athletes, I believe you because I can't do what you do.
Would you?
And I'm going to react to that and just say, I think that's a commendable comparison. That the thing that separates an esports athlete from anyone else is that, again, 99.9% of people can't gun Trey on shipment or can't gun Trey in COD. That's what makes him an athlete. There's something he can do that others can't do. Plus, not only can he do it in a ranked game or just in a casual setting, but when it comes to a main stage, money on the line, big moment, there's a competitive nature that I think that the competitiveness in a competition is what creates an athlete. Arguments to that or no?
I mean, I know what Trey's going to say. Do you want to go, Trey?
No, I was just saying, I know for a fact if Shaq walked past me prime FaZe time, he'd walk past me fat prey. But no, I was just going to say, people come into my, when I stream COD every day, people come into my chat and they're like, oh, do you know how much it pisses me off that I've got to try 1,000,000% to do 5% of what you can do? Because I'll be sitting there, I'll be singing, laughing, dancing, not even trying, just dropping 40s left, right, and center. And I forget how good I am. Really, I genuinely do, because I sit there and think, fuck hell, I'm probably washed in today's age, but my wash is still 99.9% better than everyone around the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do think it's a bit capped though. I ain't gonna lie. I get Shaq's point of view. I don't know that people like to call themselves athletes, but I don't know. I think I have a bit of an interesting take on this because people often say, sometimes people say drivers aren't athletes because all you do is you sit there, but those guys go through, it's an insanely physical sport. Let's say something like Formula 1. But I have a hard time calling darts players athletes. Is a snooker player an athlete? Is Ronnie O'Sullivan an athlete? I don't know. There's some element of physicality versus something else, but I think it's a bit more nuanced.
So are you saying that esports players aren't athletes? Rab, is that
I wouldn't call esports players athletes.
I wouldn't call them athletes. I wouldn't call them athletes either.
So you would call them
technically
competitors?
it says it on the visa, but I wouldn't call them an athlete.
Yeah, no, I mean we just had that because we had to have that. I personally wouldn't call them athletes. When you talk about physical, motherfucker, we sit in a chair for fucking 12 hours.
It's there's got to be some element of. I think Yeah, it's interesting. The feeling is for me that an athlete, if you're better physically, you'll be better at the game. That has to be a thing.
I think we're just professional gamer.
No,
I think that's true inevitably to some degree.
I think it's
in
muscle.
anything.
I think darts is still athlete because it's muscle memory. There's a coordination of brain to muscle that then needs to be an act that you commit over and over again. Same with flicking on Call of Duty, right? Does everyone have the muscle memory of COD pros in comparison? Like, here's my limit. A spelling bee champion is not an athlete. He's competing against others for a singular prize. However, not an athlete because there's no muscle involved in it. There's still some muscle memory happening and some mental competitiveness that leads you to be an athlete. That's my distinction.
Yeah, but if someone asks me what I do for a living, I don't go esports athlete or I'm a fucking athlete. I say I'm a professional gamer.
Dude, in Toronto, I'm gonna walk around with you and just say you're an esports athlete to everyone.
I will not be seen dead with you in Toronto.
I think there is a grey area because I was just like, I've been watching the Snooker World Championship, obviously, because who hasn't if you're from the UK? And like, sure, you do just stand there, but there is some degree of athleticism in the play, if you even want to use that term. And like some players are more, they can be more athletic in certain ways than others. In darts, that's maybe very marginally true. Like, I think there's a grey area. Like, there's a grey area of certain sports because chess, for example, people mentioning that, like, okay, you're not a chess athlete, you're a chess player.
Yes.
Even though, sure, there's incredibly mental, but like what you're doing physically, there's no skill there. So you can argue that anything that takes some sort of physical skill is athletic, which would mean that esports players are athletes. I think there's a bit more of a grey area. There's a bit more of a spectrum, and you get to some sports that are clearly athletic, and then some sports are like, I don't really know. Because like golf is clearly athletic. Like
100%.
people who don't see that don't
100%.
understand what they're talking about.
It's nuanced. It's nuanced. You're gonna have your back and forths about it. But what isn't nuanced?
He's not an athlete, lol.
But what isn't nuanced?
Respect my boy Beebs. He's lost weight.
But what isn't nuanced is this Twitch clip that we have to go to and we have to discuss because apparently we done pissed off Karma. Specifically, Trey, you could sit this one a little down. You're in good graces with the.
What do you mean a little down? I'm out of this bitch.
Right, okay, we'll see you later.
You're bowing out.
Come back in 10 minutes.
But essentially, if y'all don't know, let me inform you. Karma's pissed at me and Rab, apparently. And let's watch the clip. You guys can take from it what you want, but let's watch it first so we have context, and then we'll discuss. Because, man, this caught me a little blindsided, to be honest.
They're playing. There's an Among Us lobby going.
Wait, it's not loud enough. Let me. Twitch clips are very quiet. I don't know why they're so quiet. Here, there you go.
TeamSpeak right now.
Yeah, how many do they have? Can we all fit in that
basically.
lobby? Can all 6 of us fit in there?
No, I'm out. I'm not playing that shit. I'm out. I'm
You're
going
out,
to talk
Strap?
to Tej.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm going to talk to Tej and them.
I gotta decompress after the show, bro. I'm just vibing.
You're out,
right now.
Sam. You're out. You don't
Nah,
want to play.
I'm chilling in here, but I don't think I'll play.
No.
Ooh, tight shit.
Content warning. Everybody's saying content warning.
I'm about to bounce and go fucking play this thing.
You gotta play
Last thing though,
OSRS,
that fucking dumbass tech rap better not be clickbaiting anymore.
I don't know, bro. You just gotta be careful when you're playing on the
him and Ace, bro.
I believe they're going to.
Did you see what I said the other day? They started with that shit with AG when they made up that fake ass story.
Oh yeah, we
And then they try to pull that shit. I didn't get an apology on that. Those fake ass.
No way, bro.
Who?
What
I
happened?
could use a lot worse words. Fucking.
What happened?
about Rab and Ace.
What'd they do?
They're clickbaiting, bro. They're clickbait. They're using Damon's name, bro.
They love that shit.
All right. Okay.
That was a good clip.
It was a great clip, right? The start of it, there was a little bit of fluff in the beginning, but like we got to the juice, we got to the spice. Rab, I'm gonna let you go first because this is, in reality, this is more your thing than my thing. However, I was named in it, so I have to say something as well. Rab, go ahead. How you react to Karma calling you out specifically for clickbaiting his name or the situation or all that?
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure which specific circumstance he's talking about because this was the same day that I made the video about when he made the comments on Pred and he said that, Pred lays down and it's a problem for the team sometimes. So I don't know if this was in part a reaction to that, although as far as I'm concerned, nothing I said in that was clickbait because, sure, YouTube is a game. You've got to make content that is clickable. When you make 60 videos a month, it's quite likely that probably one of them is going to overstep the boundary to some degree. But at the same time, I don't think anything I did there is problematic. I think this is more so a comment on the whole Pred club drama that we had on the show a little while ago. And look, we went too far with that. I apologize to Pred for it at the time, which I stand by. And I also made some implications from that on what I thought about Karma as a coach. And there's a fair argument that if I'm going to apologize to Pred, I should have apologized to Karma as well, which I didn't do. Kind of slipped my mind potentially to do so. So I understand why Karma's frustrated. At the same time, the implications I made on Karma as a coach from that story, which we don't know the full story of, but the implications I made, I still think I stand by to a certain extent. So if you guys aren't familiar with this, basically the whole Pred Club story that apparently didn't happen, happens, whatever. And I made the argument that does Karma have the authority over the team to clamp down in those circumstances? I think Karma seems to me to be a phenomenal coach. He says it how it is. What he said about Preds and even Hook last year when he wasn't fully coaching yet. The perfect coach in many ways from a player angle. Incredibly respected by the players, incredibly knowledgeable at the game, still skillful at the game. Like he could sub in if necessary and still fry. I'm pretty convinced of it if necessary. Does he have that command outside of the game is a question that I still have, which is why, you know, like, is he the person that tells Dashi he's got to be up on time, XYZ? And maybe that's not a problem with Dashi anymore. But given Karma's history on things like that, I'm not sure that he is necessarily the perfect out-of-game coach, even though he may well be the perfect in-game coach. So I think the comments I made on maybe the authority, as I think I mentioned, was unfair. But my comments on his ability to influence things outside of the game and clamp down on the personal side of the team is still a question I have on his coaching. So I don't think I'm gonna. So, you know, maybe what I said was unfair, but I think it's, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, you can maybe make a comment, Ace, and then maybe I'll have one final thing to say.
Okay. Damon, I didn't come at you. I don't know why am I involved in this personally. I put out a public apology. It's on Twitter. You can go look at it right now. To AG. I called AG. I've talked to AG multiple times, and we have squashed this. Me and AG are good now. Like, we were supposed to go out a couple days ago, actually. We're good, right? I shouldn't have said what I said, and I've owned up to that 100,000%. But I don't know personally why because I made no comment on Karma at all. I didn't even mention his name. You can go back and watch it. If I did, then someone please remind me. But I didn't even mention his name. I don't know what apology I owe you or why you're mad at me. We've never interacted like that. So if you're mad at me, I don't know. It's misplaced anger, I think. I think he's just generalizing between you and I at this point. And I'm just always wrapped into the beef now. Anytime someone wants to hate on me, I just get it, bro. That's just what it is. That's my comment. I didn't do anything. I don't owe anyone an apology. I owe AG an apology, Pred, and I gave that apology. Done, finito. That's it.
He's throwing me under the bus. That's crazy. I
didn't say anything.
No, you're good. You're good. I think the other point to say is like, the pros have to understand, or just like the people in the scene in general, that the type of content that I make is going to be made. If we want the scene to be big and interesting, this type of stuff's going to happen. And that's the way of things. I know that we have a nice, close-knit community, but also I think sometimes people don't kind of get that the content isn't made for them, if you know what I mean. And I think that there's certain players like Clay, for example, who in the early days, maybe a couple of years ago, was not so happy. And I don't expect any player to like anything that I make, because why would they? It makes no sense for them to do so. And even any coach either, because it very rarely, even, you know, people are going to watch the ones where things are controversial or in a negative light or something. And when I praise or whatever to players and coaches, maybe it doesn't, you know, they don't look at it the same way. But I think that Clay was a player who maybe a couple of years ago wasn't so happy with the stuff that I was making, but then in more recent times has kind of come to more of like a mutual respect on what it is in the scene. So yeah, I just think like I'll always be willing to listen to players and coaches and personalities in the scene, and if they have a problem with something that I've said or that I've done or a way that I presented something, like I'm always happy to discuss it and change things or change thumbnails or change titles. Like I've done that plenty of times when players have reached out to me in private and they feel like I misrepresented something they said. But at the end of the day, they don't have much power over what I do. So, you know, I represent the community, not the players or the coaches.
Everyone has a problem when it's about them.
Of course.
And they have one video made about them probably a month if they don't say any dumb shit or do any dumb shit. I've not got a single bad video about me. I don't know. I did do a sweep. All good stuff been said. But that's my point. Like, you know, I didn't say anything about the stuff. I did, but like, you know, Damon's my dog, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got no issue, you know.
And we need to squash this beef, bro. Let's squash this dope check beef,
Yeah,
Karma
yeah,
beef.
for sure.
We gotta squash this, bro. This is unreal.
We'll squash it in Toronto. It's all good.
Yeah.
He's Canadian.
Well, yeah,
Karma's a good
you
guy.
got me there, innit? You got me there, innit?
Absolutely. Yeah.
This
We'll have
guy,
a drink.
Jim and shit.
Speaking of OpTic, speaking of the OpTic fan base and everything else, we got some positive news and really exciting news. We have champs in Texas officially announced July 18th to the 21st. Allen, Texas, which is like 20 minutes away from Dallas. We have
20 minutes? 20 minutes by fucking helicopter, maybe.
It's kind of deep, okay? It's kind of deep. It's a little deep, but like whatever. It's close enough to Dallas, Texas. If you're in Texas, you're really excited for it. July 18th, 21st. First reactions, Trey, Rab, to OpTic hosting champs.
Breaking Point House Mansion Party.
Okay, great reaction.
I've spotted there's a top golf around the corner. I will be there.
There we go.
You will see me miss every ball possible, but I will have some drinks for you, Rab. But no, listen. Everyone's salty, or like I saw a lot of people complain, like, "Oh, OpTic's got a home event for chat." Motherfucker, it's OpTic gaming. The home events you go to London, it's an OpTic home event. You go, you could go to Mars, it's an OpTic home event. All right, doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what hosting or anything like that. OpTic's the home team every event they go to. All right, so it just makes sense that might as well just have it. If they don't win champs, though, that's an issue for you. There's an issue.
If they're ever gonna win it, bro, like they've not been in a final for 7 years. If there's any event that they like have to win, it's got to be this one, right?
I mean,
but I think there is a debate to be had on there. Like, sure, champs in Dallas, great, fantastic, no problem there at all. Actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, it's not in the center of Dallas. I'm pretty sure it was meant to be at the American Airlines Center or somewhere like that, and that's right in the heart of Dallas. Right next to where the OpTic Gaming headquarters is, formerly the NDHQ in the heart of downtown Dallas. It's going to be a fair way out of Dallas. There were some problems. Like, I know people were saying that there was... Yeah, firstly, the 360 stage is kind of crazy, actually. You can maybe click on that because Benji and Asim tweeted it in replies here. Which I thought that was just like a draft of what was on the venue website, but actually that is literally what OpTic put on their thing. So that's what they're planning to do, which is actually sick. That's cool. There were some problems, like if you're from the UK and you were trying to buy tickets, you needed like a US phone number to do it. So people couldn't get their tickets or something. Crazy like taxes and fees. So a couple of problems with the launch. But
yeah, someone just said about how expensive it is. I didn't see the prices, but
I can find those really quick while we're...
I just asked in the chat about them, but yeah, I do feel like COD events are getting a bit pricey these days, don't you? I do feel like they're getting a bit pricey.
I mean, I feel like it kind of makes sense just because you're getting into like more official, more corporate. It's like going to like an official franchised NBA game, NHL game. It's a whole weekend. It's not one day, one night. So I think it makes sense. They used to be a lot cheaper. I agree.
Apparently they doubled it from last year.
Purchase. Here are the prices right here. I have them up. Let me open it up right here. This is Call of Duty single day tickets. So Thursday.
The fees.
Oh, there's fees to them as well.
Yeah, because it's like you then pay. I mean, you know how it is in America. Like you pay X, and then it's like, all right, let me throw on the taxes. Let me throw on them fees.
I think the price is $50. I saw someone say it was $50 for a ticket and then $80 for the fees or some shit.
Purchase outside of the USA, Ticketmaster.
Hex stay finessing, bro.
Well, I will say, look, so the tickets here, are.
Maybe this is one of the things with OpTic actually hosting it is like, well, if the league is hosting it, it's maybe not so much about actually turning a profit. Whereas,
Damn. Okay, the fees are about 35%. $79 for 1 day, $24 of fees. That's 35% upcharge instantly.
and this is a GA ticket as well. Okay, no VIP tickets left.
No.
Sheesh.
Wait. But Rab, that's a GA ticket for 1 day.
Yeah, no, that's kind of crazy. Like, you'd have thought maybe $150 would get you the entire 4 days.
Yeah,
See,
let's add everything. Let's have some fun with this.
What Chirac just said in the chat's like cool. Like he's got it right too. It's not like there's no nightlife casinos properly there. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do that, you got to go leave there to go to Dallas.
$77.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, there ain't really any shit around there. That's what I find a little bit crazy about this, to be honest.
Yeah, someone said our reserved seats it was $230, but with taxes it was $290.
I have it right here, so I have it up right here. Yeah, if you want to go all 4 days, GA regular general admissions, all 4 days of champs, it's $313. 236 is the subtotal. $77 is fees. 35% upcharge.
We used to pay that for a fucking team pass.
Yeah, 300 was team pass.
Kind of crazy, actually.
That's actually okay.
Someone said the fee is about to buy out Scrap.
Yeah, to pay off those lawyers. Yeah, that's what they say to the chat.
I think one of those things as well. Like, I don't know if they're ever gonna say like why it's so expensive or the fees are so expensive, but apparently last year someone said it was $120 for GA for all 4 days. That's in Vegas with casinos, all a bunch of shit to do, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't know, like OpTic know they're gonna sell it out, regardless of how much they could put the prices up to $1,000. They'd probably still sell it out. Someone would sell their left kidney to go to an OpTic champs. Like this be.
It's supply and demand. I mean, all the VIP shit's already sold out.
We're paying Drake. We're paying Drake prices for a COD event.
It's pretty wild. Like, I wonder, when OpTic did their home series, because to be fair, this isn't, this is a stadium that they don't usually operate out of. When they did their home events at the Esports Stadium Arlington, I don't know whether those were any pricier than the other majors. But this is champs. And if the CDO were hosting it, I don't think these would necessarily be the prices. But I do think that there's something to be said about OpTic hosting it and the implications of that. Because, sure, every event is an OpTic home event, but I know this is the point that Octane has made about whether things are different, that it's an OpTic hosted event. And Octane was making the point, like, if there's banners up for OpTic and all this stuff, like, you'd think that champs probably should be neutral. And, are we going to get Hitch and the boys coming out on the stage with the drums, banging the drums, heading into the OpTic series? Because I think we probably are. And, that's the type of shit that as a fan of the scene makes me feel like I don't think that should be the case personally.
A champs event where 8 teams have to battle it out for a whole fucking season online to go to a OpTic hosted champs is kind of mind blowing to me. It should be neutral hosted and a place where, I don't know, maybe a team that doesn't make it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, last year they did Vegas, right? Like, I don't really see an issue with it being in Dallas. It's more so like the hosting thing.
I'm gonna also give them a little bit of an out here, only because a lot of these fees are set standardly by, it looks like Ticketmaster's behind the website, because when you link it to the outside of America, it goes straight to Ticketmaster. So Ticketmaster notoriously, if you buy anything, or if you buy Drake tickets, you buy, any ticket, the fees are outrageous. So I wouldn't blame this on OpTic straight up. I think it's just processing Ticketmaster fees that you see on anything. So I know there's anger generally because it's an OpTic event, but I'm gonna give them a little bit of credit, leeway, and it is expensive, but like, get off their ass a little bit. Secondly, I want to say that I went to the off season last year, which technically wasn't an OpTic event, but it kind of was an OpTic event, right? It was. It was fantastic. The Dallas event last year too, the OpTic event, was fantastic. So OpTic throw great events. I'm excited for it. I think the priciness of it, in my mind, is that, last time they had a basketball court. If you guys remember Pred beating me in his video absolutely embarrassing me. They had a basketball court. They had a soccer goal. They had like really fun outside the venue stuff to do. So I'm really hoping the champs is going to be the same. Have a lot of stuff for people to do. Unlike Miami, where it was literally one scuff booth or the games. That's all you had. Literally, that was it. Food, scuff booth, matches. That's it. The OpTic
Miami
event,
I was gonna say Miami just feels like it was one of those ESL Halo Champs events. Like it was just
with like the 6 balloons outside.
Yeah,
like,
it was kind of
was
unfortunate, right?
100%.
It was a little unfortunate, but I'm really hoping this champs is like the OpTic events of the past, where haircut guys, they just had a bunch of extracurriculars to do, which the price you're paying is gonna be worth it, and don't blame them for the fees. That's just Ticketmaster cheese all day.
I think
in and
OpTic
out.
will do a killer job of it. Like, I don't think there's any doubting that.
Yeah.
It's just like you'll turn up to the event and probably there's going to be like CDL merch for sale. There's going to be OpTic merch for sale. And that's probably going to be it, right? Because it's their major, so that's probably how, what I mean?
I just feel like, two teams make it to the World Cup final or Champions League or something like that. It's like, it's not like hosted by them. Usually they find like
Still a neutral player field.
Yeah, usually they find like a neutral like stadium. Usually it's like, I don't know, St. Petersburg or something like that, where like, it's not, people want to go there, you got to travel to go there and support your team, whatever like that. I know. I feel like that's a league doing though. They obviously don't want to pay for a whole event, so give it to someone that does.
I mean, they've run out of money, this bloody league. So, we talked about the changes there on Friday. I think the other point I'd make is that at Esports Stadium Arlington, where OpTic have hosted their majors before, they always give themselves the sexiest room. And obviously, it's their event. Like, they get the big fucking room, they get the pool table, they get the ping pong table, they get all the space, they get, that's where the food is, whatever. Like, they give themselves that space. And they gave all the other teams all the shitty little back rooms to practice out of. I don't know. Well, were you even at one of those events, Trey? Or did you go to the Esports event?
Yeah, I went to one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You, like...
No, the OpTic, the Esports like stadium that OpTic have in Arlington's fire. Like, and they actually treat like, they stick you in a like big room, so you can scrim there by yourself, whatever like that. That's actually fire. But I've been to some events where, they toss you in a toilet. Bro.
But this is the thing, like, depending on what the venue setup is, like, some of the teams might end up in a shitty spot, and OpTic might have a nice sexy room, you know what I mean?
You can't, like, obviously I know they're hosted, but you can't go to Champs and get chucked in a fucking closet while OpTic have got a fucking master bedroom suite. Like, that's unfair in my opinion.
You also have this from PD Gaming, who shared a screenshot of his ticket from Vanguard for Champs. The weekend pass was $93 plus fees. The weekend pass was $93 plus fees. Is inflation this bad? 350% in 3 years?
Bro, Biden might have to go, bro.
Jesus, my God, that's actually insane, guys. $93 to 313.
I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that every event this year has been pretty like well priced as well.
I mean,
if anyone's been to the events, can you like, how much did you pay for a whole weekend? Because I saw someone earlier say like you paid like, was like $220 for like VIP for Toronto.
Yeah, and again, it's Champs too, right? If you go to the NBA Finals, right, it's gonna be more expensive than a regular event. Like, I think that's without question. So to expect anything otherwise, expecting it to be what it was before, or like an individual event, is another kind of like unfair outlook to have on this. Should it be $313 with $77 of fees? Maybe not. But should it still be $250? Something like a little bit less, but still pretty high? It's Champs, bro. Kinda.
I think what sucks as well is that they might have that rule where you can't bring in any of your own drink and food, and then you're fucking taxed on that too.
Yeah, paying like $8 for a pint plus.
Fucking hell, I'm paying $11 for a slice of fucking pizza, mate. Like,
yeah.
What's going on there?
Yeah, no, that is a good point.
Excuse me, boss. Can I get a vodka and Sprite, please? Yeah, that's $13.40, please. You fucking what? Vodka and Sprite, not an ounce of fucking
I wonder what the
God.
champs prices are going to be when it's coming out of Riyadh, because at least get into Dallas, you can get there. Whereas you got to get your flight to Saudi for next year's World Championship. It's going to be interesting.
I'm gonna be booked. I'm gonna be booked up next to the Prince. But speaking of this, all guys, hopefully we see you at champs. We want to see you at champs. Lord willing, we'll be there ourselves. So if you're there, say hi. If you want to shoot hoops against me, I'll dunk on you. Let's have some good times. I'm gonna dunk on Rab too. Just saying. But speaking of matches,
you were smart with that one. You knew you weren't dunking on me.
What? I will cross you up in soccer or basketball. I don't even care. One or the other. One or the other, Trey.
Listen, you will go out of a broken leg before you cross me.
by any means necessary. But
any means necessary.
Some teams, by any means necessary, are absolutely in the gutter. Fraud alert, fraud alert. Let's get to some matches, yeah? Is it time to get to the matches? We
can get to some matches. There are some frauds.
There are some frauds amongst us, boys and girls. Let's start with, should we start with Miami, maybe? Let's start with Miami.
I think we start Miami, yeah. Trey's favorite team.
Friday, we had them against Toronto, and then we had the match against LAT. Trey, which series you want to start with first? The Miami one, the Miami-Toronto, or LAT-Miami? I'll give you the pick.
Whichever one was first.
Okay, we'll start with the Friday.
They played Ultra first. Yeah.
Here you go. Got it up right here. Got the KDs up in the map set. You can go ahead. I'm gonna let you take this one.
Well, for stars, obviously it's Toronto, but they don't look very good.
Okay.
Envoy is not looking the greatest, and we'll get more into that as long as far as we go on. Envoy is in a horrendous slump right now. Horrendous. And someone, people coming in my chat being like, "Oh, do you reckon like he's gonna get dropped?" Nah, Envoy's one of those people that will get out of it, but his slump is crazy right now. There was some stats on him.
He even got shit on here.
Yeah, there was some stats on him. I linked them in the chat earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, there is. It's another. You've probably opened the tweet, Ace.
I have
the Screaminto one further down.
Yeah.
But basically, it's Envoy's hardpoint stats in the last few series they played. It ain't pretty, dog.
Envoy's last 9 hardpoint stats is a 0.54, a 0.68, a 0.75, a 0.35, a 0.62, a 0.7, a 0.5, a 0.53, and a 0.52.
Looking like Cold War Trey.
Bruh.
You fucking what? Maybe MW2.
Yeah, maybe.
Damn. Slammed. Holy hell. Yeah, no. Envoy's been in a big slump here. Envoy's been in an uncharacteristic slump. He hasn't been. He's never been. He's had moments of shining in respawns, but typically, he'll give you a consistent 0.9, 0.95, 1.0. He has some pop-off potential, but recently it's just been an absolutely terrible slump. Not sure what's going on.
He died for this.
I mean, if we're talking about Envoy, though, we also have to. I know we're trying to talk about Miami here, but we can also, we're going to talk about that. Insight's not having the greatest time either.
And he's getting shit on even worse sometimes.
Anyway,
we'll get to them. We got to talk Miami.
We were focusing on them over Miami.
Sorry, Miami. Yeah, listen, because I don't want to cook them too hard, but we're back. Vamonos COD isn't working again. Shock? No. Method 6 probably in there waiting for my fucking terrible looking face ass fucking waiting for my
your haterade.
Well, yeah. Well, hang on. Let me take a sip of this real quick.
Pepsi Aid right there. Haterade Pepsi Aid.
There we go.
They ain't. Listen, we know what's happening with them. All right. Real's good. Yeah, we said this. But was he good in this series? No.
Mid.
Was anyone good in this series? They're all pretty mid. Apart from Metals, he got absolutely violated. But Vamonos COD once again.
Real's still be their best player lately, I think.
Yeah, I mean
he's trying.
But the thing is that like you look at them against Ultra and you think, they're probably gonna lose against them. But then you saw them against Thieves, and it was kind of the same thing, really, in terms of they won a 6-5 map 2. If they lose that, then they, and it's a 3-0. They go to game 5, and with this series against Ultra, I kind of see it going this way because Envoy's in a slump in hardpoint. But then you look at their series against Thieves, and you know, I think they kind of shit the sheets last map.
Right. Can we get some composure? Because the way they lost this search, they got 5-2 comeback down to the search, and then they just fully mentally collapsed against Ultra here. Like, this is an Ultra that got slammed by FaZe on the Sunday. And this is an Ultra that literally world-starred Miami in that control, that they then lost to FaZe 2 days later because Miami were just mentally boomed after they lost that series. And then the Thieves one was even worse, to be honest, because the fact that they lost that game 5 was criminal. I mean, I know we have the 1v3, but this is just...
Should we peep that 1v3 clip?
Man.
Should you watch that 1v3 clip real quick?
And Miami made a 5-2 comeback here against Thieves or something, didn't they?
Yeah, whilst we're talking about, like, you know, Miami, it doesn't matter what series they're playing, it just seems to me like their ice is a bit, they ain't got none.
No, they ain't got no. This is why they're shit on LAN, is that the lights are too bright. And then when they go up 4-4 in a game 5, important round to win, the lights are too bright. What is Vickle doing here? Explain this to me. Vickle versus Pentagram, lowest IQ player of the week. Go. But I've already started on the Pentagram trash talk.
No, relax. We're jumping ahead. We jumped to Toronto, jumped to Boston now. Let's stay on Miami. We have a lot to talk about. We have a special guest coming on as well, everyone. For the I'll give you a little insights. The Rokkr Breach series, we got a special guest coming on. I don't know who, but someone will be here soon. But let's watch this 1v3 for series point from Dan Ghosty. Absolutely filthy plays out of him.
Both Metals there for it. Ghosty now sliding in. Takes advantage of the trades. Last man left alive. Makes it a 1v1. Damn Daniel. Back at it again. With round for the Thieves.
Dude, what a god in that moment. Ghosty out there breaking them down. That is an...
My God, that's some terrible COD right there. That's just like, yeah, they just literally sprinted at him, and then Vickle sliding out dark was just insane. Pinch it out.
What are they coming, bro? What are they saying?
Vamonos.
This is what Trey's saying about this style of COD, right?
Metal's probably sat there. Metal's probably sat there, scream, trade me, trade me, trade me, trade me. Vickle's screaming, vamonos, 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 vamonos. And then they get 1v4.
Dude, Dan Ghosty was smoking on the Miami pack, dude. Different 420 vibes.
That 420 buff was crazy for him.
Listen, I'm saying this right now. That is the most. That is embarrassing as people that are supposed to be professional players on a fucking salary to get 1v3 like that. That is embarrassing.
I'm not gonna lie. This is me being honest. I like those boys. I think Real's very talented. It looked like rank play. How they approached that situation in a 1v3 truly looked like Crimson ranked play players sliding one by one on the guy on tank. That's what it actually looked like to me.
Like I love Dan and I'm struggling to give him credit for it because of how fucking dog shit they played that. Like, honestly, like that was not a professional team in a 1v3. Like, shout out to Dan, like, great
Ghosty
ice.
Didn't
whatever
even really
like
celebrate though.
Yeah, that's
what the fuck
he
did
knows.
they just do?
I think he was shocked. I think he was shocked. He's like, what the fuck just happened? How did they approach that right there? Like,
he was so baked. He didn't even know what was going on.
He was like double positive back one as well. Like, he was absolutely frying. He got that special strain for his big day.
But that's what I'm saying. It is embarrassing as a professional player who's getting paid probably, you know, maybe 6 figures or something like that to approach a 1v3 in that way. That I know for a fact challenger players aren't doing that. Like, top challenger teams aren't doing that. Some of my people in rank play aren't even doing that.
Some of them do it when the pressure's on. I'm telling you, for Miami, the lights are too bright. They don't do that shit they play an S&D tournament, they don't do that shit. But all of a sudden it's 4-4 last map, important series. This is why they get shit on LAN. It's just what it is. But Rail tries his best. Metal's even had a good series here, which is the first time in a while. They still lost. So
I'm gonna give myself. I just want to give myself a little bit of flowers, just saying, hey, I've been 5 for 5, 6 for 6 on rookies and also people coming into the league who are gonna make a difference, make an impact. Real comes in. Everyone said I'm faded. There's no way he can contribute and make this Miami team somewhat competitive. Ace might be cooking. Ace might be cooking and not cooked. I'm just saying. I just want to put it out there, man.
Ace might be on a generational run of like making 55% good opinions. lately.
55%. Gwyn. Oh my God, my Gwyn take. I can't wait for the Carolina talk. I cannot wait.
I'm not allowing it. They've played bum teams.
Oh my goodness, you're a hater. You're a hater. You're my number one hater right now, bro.
They played a Boston Breach. Like, yeah, fucking sick. They played a Toronto Ultra. Like, yeah, you got fucking dogged on. Congrats. And then they played a fucking LA Thieves, and you didn't. Yeah, you had a decent showing versus them. Like, yeah, for sure, bro.
Man, damn, that was
Which team, right?
That was a
Quick
beating,
question.
bro.
We know that both New York and Toronto
Sorry.
are struggling. We'll get to them. Which team is most likely to crack top 4 next event of the other teams? Because obviously it ain't Miami. But, I mean, to me, I'm looking at either Ravens, I'm looking at Thieves, I'm looking at, I mean, I want to say Vegas, but we'll talk about them. Thieves have maybe what it takes, but...
Are you asking me, do I think there's another top 4, or do I think that...
No, I think, like, because I don't know if next event, I don't think, based on what we're
I think it stays the same. I think it stays the same.
This thing is still them top 4, the next top 4 next event.
I don't think, but by no means do I think... I mean, do you want to jump to another team? Do you want to jump to a New York?
I'm jumping to this. We can jump to New York.
Ravens
actually,
are next.
But here are the standings. Here's the standings as well, just to get an idea of how big of a jump it is between 4th and 5th. It's about 80 points. So that's
look at the record, man. Rokkr are 8-15 and they're 5th.
Yeah, like you could win all your league matches, all your online matches right now, and still not make it to the 4th. So it is a very big jump to get to 4th. But if I had to pick one team, truly one team to make it into that top 4, people are gonna think it's cheese. I can't wait for the cheese. Go ahead, put them all in the chat right now.
He's not saying Rokkr, is he?
Rokkr, I think, have the highest chance with the team. With the team they have, with the potential they showed. We'll get into them talking about their Boston series, but Rokkr have the highest chance and are in 5th right now as well. So literal point differential.
The highest chance for a team to get top 4, if we're taking New York out of it, is LA Thieves.
Why?
I think they've got it, bro. I think, well, for starters, I don't think any team's fucking immaculate. We can jump into New York because I was streaming X Defiant and I was going through, everyone was like, Trey, what's up with New York? What's up with New York? And I was like, I'll show you what's up with New York.
All right, let's jump to them right now.
So we'll jump into New York. This team might have some of the greatest in terms of kills to non-fucking hill time I've ever seen in my life. And I done this when I went over their I went over some of their matches. Do me a favor, is click on the Rokkr match, and this is what I keep saying with the.
This is the one they won.
Yeah, the one they won, right? Okay.
Yeah. Go onto the Rokkr match, all right? Here. And this is their biggest issue, all right? Just give it with the talent they have, and we deem them top 4. Okay. Look at, and this is a reoccurring theme that happens every single fucking time. I struggle to see them win a map with more than 60, 70 points when they are absolutely frying. If you look at their map 1 and map 4 versus Minnesota Rokkr, look at the outslaying they do and look how many points they win by. It is an absolute embarrassment.
It's criminal, yeah. Map 4, I think, was especially bad, but maybe map 1 was bad as well.
It's embarrassing. And it happens every single series. And I think it's kill whoring. I think it's not knowing what to do when they get the kills. And I genuinely believe it's just people not caring about jumping in the hill. And it happened at LAN versus OpTic. It happened on the map 4 invasion. They were literally tucking them to sleep. The only person that went positive, I think, was Kenny or something like that. And that was to go game 5. And they just don't know what to do with their kills.
I think
they just don't know. They just don't know what to do with their kills.
I think the map 1 of the Rokkr series is probably the biggest example out of this one. We'll jump to the losses they had too, but even look at this point differential, KD differential. You have Sky's 2.0 KD, 30 kills, 23, 19, 20. Highest KD on the other team is 1.14. Lamar with 25 kills is the highest. Standy with 17. The differential here is insane, right? It's just absolutely insane. They only won by 8 points on Karachi, which is rotation heavy, right? If you have the kills, you should be winning Karachi by a lot. So it is very shocking the way that looks like on the map, they're piecing, but it's not converting into wins. It's not converting into big wins. It's not converting to map wins. it's kind of terrifying, and it's getting exposed this week against Carolina and Seattle. So let's look at those two series.
Guys has been watching VOD from his old boy teammate Big Wake from back in the day when they used to be a duo. Wake left the league, and Prime Wake has inhabited Skies' body.
I would love to say this, Rab, but everyone's doing it. It happens every single map.
It's actually quite funny to watch. Hydra had 100 kills a series.
If you listen, if they don't play Rio is the only map I've seen them where they win by like 60, 70 points. If they don't play Rio, they outslay everyone and win by 20 to 30 points, even worse. And this
is so weird to think of why this is the case, because we know they have a good coaching staff. It's like, I know that Dashi and Sib were debating this on the flank, and Dashi was basically saying that he thinks they try and play too perfect. They play like too structured or whatever. And Sid was like, nah, that's cap. That ain't true. If that was true, we'd fix it easy. And then they go on to get shit on by the next two teams they play. So I don't even think that New York understand what's going on. Because Dashi's opinion was that they're, people said it in the chat, they're playing not to lose rather than to play to win. I don't know if maybe they are like trying to play too perfect in some ways. I think that might be true, actually.
I don't know if they're trying to play too perfect.
Because they've got so much talent on paper.
They just don't hit the hill.
Yeah.
Every time they get a kill, they maneuver around the hill and should go for more kills. There's no guy just jumping on there sacrificing.
And I think it is a little weird that if you look at their hard points, it's kind of when you have kids like again map 4, you have Skies with 131 seconds. It's a Rio though, so it's mixy. But I think if you tend to look at their hard points in general, their subs tend to have more hill time than their ARs, which is a little weird. Like, why is Hydra 60 seconds on the hill? In my opinion, I think subs like Hydra, Pred, they can be on the hill, but should they be? Ideally, no. You should have them roaming, hitting those smart plays, hitting those flanks, laying down in corners, doing what they got to do. But it kind of makes them inefficient in a sense when the ARs are out there roaming, slaying, getting kills 35 seconds for Dante, instead of him being the hill kid and letting his subs push up, be aggressive, and play the spots they need to on rotation. So I think that's one of the inefficiencies I've noticed with NY around, along with unnecessary pinches, unnecessary flanks that convert to some kills, but don't convert to actual map control and hill control. So I will say, but this series against Carolina, I've seen some arguments about it. This is one that I want to bring up to you guys. Did Carolina win only because of a generational kill setting record by Gwyn, or were New York actually just looking bad and got exposed? Thoughts?
Bit of both. Like, you can't deny a 1.47 and a win 3-2. Like, with all of his team basically,
he smashed the kill record
in the nicest way possible. Getting shit on
20K.
Like, you can't deny that, but then you've also got to sit there and think, three pretty positive three pretty positive KDs from New York and not a win. Like, that's embarrassing. Especially we deem as a top 4 team against, we deem Carolina, not a very good online team. Rab, would you agree? Like, pretty
but
woeful.
It's facility cheese, baby. What I said was true pre-facility, but
have we seen that facility? Can we get that tweet up, Rab?
We do have it. Yeah, I did link it, Ace. Yeah, from,
which one?
From
the facility one?
Can we get the Carolina Royal Ravens facility that took them till Major 3 to get? By the way, which is just
where is the facility one, bro?
It's from Tom C. Luck. Tweets around about here somewhere. Might be further along. I don't know. I can link it to you in the chat if you can't find it.
Yeah, give it a link.
It's before the Brian stat. It's just before this one, I think. Before the Brian Saint one, but all good.
We'll find
Look through literally
it's tweeted by, it's in the
yeah, okay. I think it was one out here. Yeah, you're good. But
now,
I mean,
there it
you
is.
gotta say it's pretty sensational.
No, so like we said that they might get better if they always play in the same place, play in a facility. When I heard facility, by the way, I wasn't expecting this.
Did they ever say facility, or was that did they say
facility?
They get us a place and then people inferred facility? Because this ain't a facility, though.
Well,
I mean, look, this is vibes, though.
Wait, no. I would argue this is it's not what you would think of as a facility, but is it better than what they had? That's what I'm going to compare it to that, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, for sure. But this was my point of, you know, we're dealing with multi-million-dollar, nearly billion-dollar organizations, and we're getting thrown in a conservatory.
They actually said they had so many issues. Both days they played, like they were dealing with problems up to like 5 minutes before the game, which is why actually the fact that they managed to somehow beat New York is even more embarrassing for New York, because genuinely they had like 5 minutes of warm up. Like they didn't get to play a warm up scrim. Ravens, they just jumped straight in. Gwyn drops a generational 1.5, like one of the top 5, maybe top 3 series we've ever seen from an individual in CDL history. Pretty insane. And then York still get beaten by that, like after being so well prepared.
Are you trying to tell me?
All this?
Are you guys seriously trying to tell me that Carolina or Ravens could not get an apartment until Major 3?
Right, they're a premium organization. What can I say?
Now, if it was a full blown ass facility, I'd be like, oh shit, right, that takes time. Like, fair enough. Like, you know, that's how it is. Motherfucker, it does not take fucking 6 months to get a goddamn bedroom.
Yeah, so Brian Saint has the penthouse apartment, and I think they're playing out of that, and then the rest of the boys live down the street somewhere. How is Brian Saint the one who's finessed the penthouse, by the way? You've got to respect this guy, because for all the trash I've talked, here he is, finessing his way onto Ravens into a penthouse. What a guy.
Well,
someone said this is a setup I used to do 10 years ago on Ghost with the boys on a weekend to grind GBs.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you were fucking fried if you had this setup for your boys playing GBs.
Hey man, Carol, I'm gonna give them some gas though. I'm gonna give them some gas though. They've been playing. They look good. They look like the COD looks a little more consistent online. Fellow doesn't look. Shout out Rab. Fellow looks like he's playing a bit better too. Whatever they're doing, it's working. So I'm gonna let them rock that this is better. And yeah, you get to be with the boys all in one city. So we've talked about this before, the chemistry, right? The chemistry of being in the same place, same city is very important to like wanting to win, caring about the guy next to you. It's a big deal. I actually think they're a sleeper pick for like getting, you know, making it a champs, locking their spot in and creeping up into that top 4 spot possibly.
I think they're making champs for sure. Like on this recent evidence.
Like
his team just been stepping it up as well. Yeah, this is like, I can't believe they didn't do this sooner, to be honest. Like, thank God they've finally done it. But
that's literally my point. Like, you know, I'm not mocking the apartment or mocking the bedroom facility. I'm mocking the fact that it's taken them this long to get it going. Like they're playing out of Brian Saint's apartment as well. It's not like they've gone out and rented somewhere else. They're literally playing out of Brian Saint's gonna wake up in the morning and Gwyn sat there going over S&D needs.
Or sleeping on the couch, as apparently.
For starters, I'm just saying
that's fucking vibes right there. That's what you need, though. That's real COD vibes.
I would be fuming, yeah, if I was like, yeah, we're gonna get a facility, we're gonna get this. I get a phone call from the owners like, yo, listen, slight situation happened. The boys are playing from your apartment. You're gonna have to deal with it. I'll be like, the fuck?
No, I think they knew that was the plan. But I genuinely think like you've got LAN COD, but in online COD, you've got online remote COD, where it's just awful, and then you've got online kind of next to each other COD, which is a different.
Oh deal. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, like this. Well, this is what I said Clay needed. Clay literally didn't look like he wanted to play when he was not there, and then you watch him play. You know, when he sat next to everyone, and it's like it. You know, he's given his all. I feel like that is also one of those things as well where it's like if they look over at Clay like sat next to him and they see him like huffing and puffing or giving up like, you know, giving off bad vibes or whatever, they're like, oh fucking hell, this guy, I don't want to be it. Whereas like online you can't really see it until you watch the games back, but in person like he's going to be going 150%. It's like that LAN environment. So I think it is good.
Yeah, I want to give credit to, we're kind of jumping to Carolina now. We were talking about NY. We can go back to them in a second, but I want to give our credit while we're just kind of hashing Carolina out because there's not much to talk about. It's just they had a great week. So, but I want to give flowers to TJ Halley dropping a 1.27, looking like TJ of old, looking like Rise TJ, you know, like really looking like he makes a difference on the map, and they want to control on a high rise. God bless. Good job, Carolina. So that is what I want to give props to, and I want to give props to myself on a second one, that Gwyn is the truth. This kid is phenomenal, ridiculous, top 4 player, top 4 team potential. This guy is absurd at Call of Duty. And give myself my pat on the back, wipe off my own shoulder. 5 out of 5, baby. I'm rocking with the people in this league who are proving themselves and making a name for themselves. God bless.
It's nice. It's nice to see everyone getting their monthly LAG coin in. You know, buffing up the stats. You know,
that's comedy.
It's nice.
Yeah, reasonably emphatic.
It's nice to see, you know, people, you know, pouncing on the opportunity to get your LAG coin. We done it back in the day with Paris, so you know, cash him in while you can. Catch Assault while he's off guard, which is all the time. So,
did you try and get the chat on screen by the way, Ace, as well? I just realised
the chat's not on the screen.
Well, I don't know. I hadn't seen it. All good though. I linked it in the chat.
Are we gonna go back to NYSL, or do you want to talk about?
Yeah, we go to the last series for the NYSL, the one against Seattle, which was insane. Like we could talk about that one specifically.
Yeah, I mean this is embarrassing. Like fair play to Ravens. I actually think they have lots of upside. Gwyn's been frying. I think the more I watch of Gwyn, the more impressed I am. But that is such a different environment. I also wonder whether Clay spoke to Ravens. I imagine this might be true, Trey. Like I think Clay, when he was going to join the Ravens, was like, I really hate playing online on my own. You know, like I'd really love to be with the boys. Like we've got to be there, otherwise that ain't gonna work. And they're like, yeah, sure, Clay. Don't worry, brother. We got you. We got the facility. We got it locked in. And we already got the plans in place, baby. We got the major happening in Charlotte, Major 4. We got the plans in place for the facility. Clay signs that contract. He phones them up. It's like, all right, when am I moving in? Where are we going, lads? Yeah, it's been a bit of a delay on that one, mate. We haven't quite got it figured out yet. And then Clay's just fuming, and then he just, you know, sits there like he don't want to be there for the first 2 stages.
They probably said to him, like, listen, Clay, we can't offer you the fucking multi-millionaire contract everyone else can. All right, we just can't. We know you're worth it, but we just can't. But this is what we'll do for you instead. Big ass facility. All right, your name on the front door of the facility. Major. All right, bunch of blown up Clay heads in the crowd. Picture it. Fantastic. All right, big facility, crazy major. Clay's like, yeah, for sure. I'll take a 100K pay cut for that. For sure. Yeah, let's go. Let's run it. Gets there. Brian Saint's penthouse for his LAN matches, for his online matches. No major. They're going to Burbank. So, you know, I think Clay might be on the verge of suing if I was him.
Yeah, he needs to talk to Hex's lawyer. But they're finally making progress. This shit, though, was criminal. I will say, just quickly, because I know I was hating on Surge. And for good reason. For good reason. But I will say, wow, incredible, isn't it? How when you put players together that actually want to try and win, they win. You drop RSTs, O4 comes in. There's more to it than just dropping RSTs because Abuza and Brizzy are now on the roles that actually make sense. Like, what are we doing here? Having Abuza and Brizzy's better on the AR anyway. Abuza's obviously way better on the AR. Like, what are we doing? Hook is like legitimately, when you listen to his comms, I mean, I said this before, that Hook was their best player because at least he was trying, and that's certainly true now. And we know that Hook Online is actually can be God mode in his better series. And O4's holding his own, playing perfectly well, but it's like the team actually seems to want to try and win and improve now, which is honestly all you need sometimes against some of these other rosters. So fair play to Surge, because actually now they've made the changes, I'm kind of rooting for them to succeed more than I was before, although I still think Rambo Ray's a bit of a fraud. But you know, there's plenty of other frauds in the server, guys.
I'm a fan of Seattle because I liked 04. I did an interview with him in Seattle, in Miami. First time I met him, he's a good kid, and how he played in challengers, winning champs with Classic, Gunless, and Dak was impressive too. And S&D specifically, very impressive. And we've kind of seen his S&D prowess over the last couple of weeks. People talked about a play. They're talking about it on the breakdown. Embos was like super hyped about a play he made on Invasion S&D, where he like dropped the bomb, ran to ice cream, get the 2-piece, dies for his team. So like he's just, I'm happy to see him shining, and I get the role switches is just such a big deal, right? Abuza Brizzy looking good, finally comfortable. That's the team has kind of unlocked their potential. So I think this stage is where we actually see what Seattle Surge could be, the possibilities with everyone playing their proper roles. Is this them top 4 potential beating New York, or is it New York just classically kill whoring? I mean, bro, New York looked just outclassed, outgunned. Brizzy started on a 10 streak, I think. He had like a 10 streak start. Abuza was turning on people. It just looked really messy. I'm not sure what's going on with New York. I mean, we kind of are sure what's going on, but to lose to a team like Seattle, who are pretty, newly formed.
3 respawns?
Yeah, especially...
They were 1 in 17 of their previous 18 control maps?
Especially the respawns, especially the control. That's what made it 10 times worse. It's very... Sirens are going off if you're NYSL right now. Sirens must be going off. What's going on? Why are we not looking the same on LAN? Now why are we not looking the same online? What's with this inconsistency, these ups and downs? What's happening? Red flags all around for NYSL.
One thing I'll just quickly say on New York before you go, Trey, is like, I thought in the first series against Rokkr they played, that they just didn't want to try the new maps for some reason. But it's quite clear over the last couple of matches they played against Ravens and against Surge, they must just be shit at the new maps. Because why would you not play them? Like, the other top teams, Toronto FaZe and OpTic, they're playing 6-star, they're playing Vista, they're getting reps on the new maps. Like, New York Subliners are banning 6-star out. Like, they must be shit at it. And they played Vista here and lost it.
They played Vista, Hydra's on 43 and Sib's on 19. Like, they're clearly not meshing well. I mean, listen, we got...
Bro.
Listen,
also, there's a Rambo Ray tweet you might want to bring up.
No, I'm not. I'm blocking him.
We have, guys... Our weekly Rambo Ray tweet tracker has finally ringed off. We got Rambo Ray tweeting out. Was it the Canucks, I think? Yeah, it's the...
Can we go to the replies of those? I want to check the replies real quick.
I'm kind of worried before I do all the replies. Let me switch screens.
I can clear the replies. I can.
Yeah. Check the replies one time. We'll watch this little playoff.
Yeah, you're good. The replies are good.
We're good?
I told him.
So he's chilling at a
the best
Canucks
interest
game.
of the show.
Okay.
So there's no links in bios.
Yeah. I'm just making sure. Yeah, I don't want to scroll down and just see a pair of yammers just sitting there. Try not to.
Bro's
see that
team got one upset and he came out of hiding.
World Cup. Yeah, Bro's team got one upset.
Bro, the OpTic Texas AABIs, they always have like some crazy.
Bro, they just say shit to say shit. They don't even know what to say. They just say it.
Buddy, when's the next bowling scrim? You've been awfully quiet.
I mean, honestly though, like, it is funny that he hasn't tweeted in a month, and then he don't even tweet about his team. Like, does he do anything?
I mean, listen,
it until anything happens.
Whatever's happening is working. Also, losing to Seattle in a control, that is on track to blow it up.
Honestly, that is blowing up much right now.
That is blow it up material.
But also
right
playing
there.
them on Invasion, right? Like, if there's anything you're going to play a shit control team on, I don't think you play them on Invasion. Invasion, I know that they did win an offense, which was criminal, but like, Invasion is the one map where you can, more likely to go 5 defenses. And probably they banned, I imagine that Surge banned Karachi, because bloody hell, what happened against Ravens was criminal. But I imagine that New York could have played them on high rise, and I don't know. It's just interesting. Interesting they did this. I thought,
bro, Seattle were 1-8 on Invasion control before that match.
Okay, fair enough.
that is literally your free dub.
I'm gonna say it's I want to say it's uncharacteristic too to see Dante being the lowest KD on a team in a series, 0.7.
Wow, New York banned Karachi control. That is criminal to me. I know they might be bad at it, but yeah, J-Bed saying that New York actually banned Karachi control, which is like,
maybe they thought it was more cheese than Invasion. Again, scrim records might be there too, so they may have scrimmed someone.
Surge are certified cheeks on it. Like, we got to be trolling.
Yeah, I don't know. Recently, New Yorkers just look like they're like overcompensating for plays and like trying to do a lot just in their. I feel like they're in their heads a little bit right now. They're in their heads a little bit right now, and they should get back to playing COD, having some fun, playing COD, and just stick to the fundamentals, man. It's not you're outclassing teams. You're more talented. All 4 of your players are better individually than pretty much the other bottom 8 teams. Just play fundamental COD, and you'll get the win. You ain't gotta do nothing too flashy. Just like, I don't know. New York's in a really.
I think Kismet, he ain't the same player on this game. I think there's a couple of things going on there. Hydra is still to me a top 5 player in the game. Yeah. Maybe even better than that. Like, Hydra's unreal. Watch his POV and speak to itself.
Yeah.
Sib, I think the pressure's getting to him, to be honest, to some degree, and I think You can see that in some of his reaction. I don't know if you have some of the reaction tweets, but Trey did screenshot them. So that's my boy. Some of what Sib had to say, he had to say quite a lot, actually.
Well, don't bait me out like that. I did not do it. It was on Attack Rabs Academy's
Yeah, exactly.
graduates.
One of the
Me.
one of the Taco Academy guys, they brought it up. Yeah, this is some example of some of the things he was replying to. That Fraser guy at the bottom, he kind of cooked him. Well, he actually was getting cooked, to be fair, but he tried to cook him. So yeah, just in the way that Sib's been reacting, I think even Sib has made the comment that like he knows that bloody hell, like this team won 3 events last year, including champs. Even I will say, last year the Subliners, there were periods where they were pretty shit as well. Like you look back at last year, you think, damn, they started great, they finished great, but it was a good period in the middle where we were considering they had to blow it up, and then they put it together again. So maybe they're thinking the same thing is going to happen again, but I'm not so convinced that Lightning is going to strike 2 seasons in a row. I think that Sib is feeling the pressure of the fact that he's on this team and he's, you know, the odd man out of the team that won the World Championship last year. But I don't think it's just Sib. Sib may well be the weakest player in the top 16 of those top 4 teams, apart from Envoy, to be honest, right now. But apart from that, it's got to be Sib, I would say. But also Kismet, I mean, interesting with players like Kiz, because he was in the league back in MW19. He was solid. He then struggled through challenges for multiple years before getting back in MW2, played really well to get back into the league, definitely played a part in turning around that Subliners team, and then was a key piece alongside Hydra last year. But FaZe, you look at FaZe, especially you look at FaZe on these new maps. Simba and BZ are everywhere, they're doing it all. CleanX and Envoy, they have one of those 2 firing. Shotzi and Pred, they have both of those firing against 11 or against 10 teams, but not against FaZe. They have one of them firing. And New York, they have Hydra. Kiz is, honestly, he's not as good at this game as last year. I think that's some degree of regression to the mean. I think what we're seeing from Kiz this year is kind of like, that's kind of like his level. Last year, I think he played above the level. Other times he's played below the level. And that's fine, but it ain't going to be good enough to win you events and championships when there seems like FaZe out there. So that I think is the interesting piece for me. And the more that I watch these teams, the more I think, damn, like some team is going to have to do some sort of mega OpTic Envy merge if they want to do some shit, because like it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
I wished players stopped replying to people that don't matter to them. I really do. I said it with,
what are you talking, Trey? Let's keep it pushing, boys. Don't listen to what Trey has to say, pros. Don't listen.
I mean, they don't anyway, to be honest with you, if we're being honest. Like,
no, they don't listen.
Vickle, for example, replying to a guy called CDL Scrimtel on Twitter, basically saying, if that's what you took from that series, you're deluded. Like, bro, why do you need to say that kind of stuff? Now Sib's just replying randomly to all these random people in his life that genuinely should not even affect him. Basically, kind of roasting them back too, you know? You look at that free dopamine and he just spell it out for you, comprende? Like, you know,
the rest of the tweets may still exist. Let me just find them real quick.
You know, Sib replying, just looked at your profile picture and you get no bitches. Like, it's funny, but
dude,
like,
that one is so funny because someone, if you zoom in, I'll try to zoom in for you guys. But if you zoom in on his profile picture, it's him with his baby in a stroller, bro.
Yeah, I opened this one, Ace. This is like the full thread.
It's fucking so funny because it's literally a guy with his kid, like, dog. No way you say he gets no bitches. Here it is.
Like, the way I see it as well, like, I seeing like pros like reply to these people that, like, you know, probably he is a fan of him.
The guy changed his profile picture, by the way, too.
Oh, he did, yeah, he did.
Well, he probably got.
He used to be the one with the baby, though.
Yeah,
probably wasn't his baby.
Oh, that'd be insane. That'd be insane.
But like, my point is just like, you know, you've just lost, you just dropped the 0.7, whatever, like that. You head to Twitter, your team's just, you just lost a control to Seattle. Like, everyone's fuming. You've got Sib on the sidelines. This guy gets no, Sky, you seen this guy? He gets no bitches, right? I'm tweeting, he's getting no bitches. Like,
bro, lock him. Like, we got Vonta.
Like, lock him, bro. We just got, listen, we lock him, bro. We just got fucking cooked by Brezzy. Like, you know.
We gotta watch VOD, Dante. Get off your phone.
Yo, Caesar, do you reckon this guy gets any bitches? I don't get nice. He ain't get bitches, bro.
No, I just feel like it's like some of this like Twitter finger stuff just needs to, people don't calm it down. Just let your gameplay do the talking. It goes in with a little bit of professionalism too. Just like, you know, keep it off You're a pro in something. Keep it off Twitter. Relax. Everything's fine. You took an L. It was a bad L. I wanted to watch this clip of the 1v3. Gwyn 1v3 in them in this moment. Their faces of how mind blown they are that this happened to them was my face at home. Manage extensions, wrong one. It was literally like my face at home exactly. Like I was mind blown seeing this happen. So let's watch Gwyn put on a masterclass right now.
2v5, just let down. You're trying to mail. Nail, not on bomb right now. On bomb, last guy. Oh! Let's fucking go! Dab me up, baby! Dab me up.
And then you have Brian say coming in, you just broke the record. That shit is crazy. How do you get 1v3 in this situation? What's going on here? Look at this 1v3. Look how impossible this is. Dante sees him. He's not even aiming at Dante.
Nail.
I mean, it was just such a perfect way to end the series. Like, there was no better way to end off the Gwyn masterclass than with a 1v3 like this. Because he already had 9 kills. And he'd already broken the record, I think, at this point. And then he just put this 1v3 in to just take the piss.
He broke the record by 1 at this point. He was 1 above, and then this put him 4 above. Or 5 above. Yeah, it was 114, 112, and 3 more kills, 115. So he went above by +4 on the record because of this 1v3. So insane moments. But again, what a collapse out of NY in this moment and in this map, right? It's not a close map even. They won 6-1. NY struggling. Carolina, happy for them. But yeah, a lot going on here with this team dynamically, in the game, out of game. Twitter fingers. We got to calm it down. Focus back on COD. You have one of the best coaching staffs in the entire game. Lock it in. Get back to the fundies. And let's win some maps, let's win some maps. But going ahead, let's jump to...
Go on, you know you want to. He knows he wants to.
Should we do...
There's 2 teams I want to look at. We could do Vegas quickly.
Vegas? Let's go to Vegas.
I'd like to talk about them.
Let's go team. Let's go to Vegas really quick.
Just because they got clowned pretty bad by Pred and
They got clowned by OpTic. And I said it before and I'll say it again. Like, this is just your first series against OpTic. Yeah, it sucks. But you can't be doing that.
Yeah, unacceptable.
Because it's when you said Ace that, you heard Attach say like, oh, Asim came in and fixed all of our stuff in scrims, whatever. Scrims don't mean shit. I said it back then and I'll say it now. Scrims don't mean anything. Because it's just people try new things or people just ain't trying as hard. You play in the top 4 team. They don't particularly go hard against the, lesser teams. We've heard it on OpTic and stuff like that. The reps they get against the teams below them, they are not that good. And especially with playing OpTic like this, they literally got clowned by OpTic. Like, you got Pred screaming at the camera. You've got them clowning them saying like, Kenny saying, oh wait, it's 420, no wonder they're like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is bad. This is just a bad look. They got slammed.
Shotzi was making mind-blown faces. Like, even Kenny said that they had to change their game plan because if they played fundamental good COD, it might not even work because Vegas were just doing such wacky shit. I do wonder a little bit because, okay, Attach can say what he says about Asim and scrims and the way things have been going and all this. But at the same time, again, it's the timing of their change that calls things somewhat into question because other teams, let's say Rokkr, right? They trialed Illy. They played with him for presumably a day or 2, whatever it was. It wasn't working. So they make the move. They get Gunner's on instead. Vegas, because they made the change during the cycle, they didn't have the time to trial. Like, they just had to make the decision. And they thought, okay, minus Purj plus Asim, sure, worth a go. Bring him in, drop Purj, start to play practice. It's going fine, all right? Like, let's go with it. But it's not like they trialed Asim. They just, hoped it would work. But it's only one series. But it is, Asim usually wins his debut series. And this series, he had a 0.64. I still, I said it before, I didn't expect Vegas to be getting worse off this move. I thought they could improve or they could stay the same. And therefore, it's worth a try. But sub 10k damage, not a great debut, looked lost on the map. They did get slammed a bit. But it is OpTic. So, again, got to give them a bit more time. This is why I'll give Vegas and Asim a little bit of leeway. But I ain't giving Boston any leeway at all. We'll get to that.
Yeah, I will say this before you go, Ace.
Yeah,
like this with everyone saying about Asim, this is the latter stages where Asim genuinely gets worse towards the end of the year. It happens quite a lot. And I know we speak about it quite a lot, and I know Ace and I know Rab agrees that, like, you know, towards the second half of the season, Asim tends to not play the greatest COD that, you know, you see him play like Major 1, Major 2. So hopefully it doesn't continue like this. But like I said, very rough series against a team that you kind of need to come out and have a good showing against.
Watching the series was very weird because it looked like everything was moving in slow motion. Everyone was getting only a couple seconds of hill time on like money hills. People were getting 3 down, but then getting killed out of rotations.
Like game 1 was like,
game 1,
I thought I was having an aneurysm.
It was the weirdest game 1 I've like seen. Like, how is this Karachi functioning right now? It was so slow, so odd. Everything was snail pace. And honestly, I was expecting OpTic to come out and just slam, but it didn't even look like OpTic was. I looked like OpTic was playing confused. It's like, what the fuck is going on right now? So I don't know. There was a lot of winnable situations for Legion 2, a lot of moments to capitalize on, but it looked like they were so turtle paced and inefficient in their gameplay that they just couldn't capitalize. It was
everyone's sitting there in the chat saying, "Oh, they didn't get slammed, they didn't get slammed." Watch the gameplay. It was the worst hard point I've ever seen from someone to get 214 points. It was dreadful.
And I'm gonna also point out just the KDs. Like, I know KDs don't matter. I'm Mr. KDs don't matter, but like OpTic weren't particularly playing a great map, but they still won by 40 points, more than, let's say, an NYSL team that super kill whores and wins by 8. OpTic won with a comfortable 40-point win, basically, when Shotzi dropping a 0.74, Preds under a 1.0, and Attach and Nero are above 1.2s and a 1.5, respectively, on a Karachi. That Legion stat line, even with Asim dropping a 0.55, should be a comfortable win. 3 guys above 1.0s, Asim even with a 17. Like, this should be a comfortable win, but for some reason, it didn't translate to a win. So, Legion, I think, have a potential, and I said this before with Asim, something's going wrong. Watch the VOD back, correct some mistakes. You have potential to beat these top 4 teams. Like, you actually have a lot of potential here, and you showed it against OpTic. But there's some inefficiencies going on that need to be worked on ASAP, because you're already, you know, matches are starting, bro. You need to get this shit going quickly. You don't have much time.
They needed a plug and play. They got a plug and play, and he's not playing. Like, that's literally it. Like, I mean, that's facts though. You know what I'm saying? Like, they from people saying in the chat, they just sat there and tried kill her and Shotzi by the looks of it. Yeah, they're not fucking wrong. Like, you know, I can sit there and say about New York's stat line about how they, you know, lose hard points doing that. They've just done it here. You know, I watch the minimap. I don't watch the kills. I don't watch the score. I'm watching the minimap. That was by far one of the worst hard points I think I've seen this year.
I want to add
the control weren't far behind.
Yeah, I want to just add last thing too is that Purj, his benefit to them was that 3 of those guys from Major 2 all had above 1.0s. Okay, all of them above 1.0 KDs, frying. Purj was the gap filler. He was the guy who 30 seconds. If you go back and watch VODs, 30 seconds on almost every hill, he was out rotating. He was already gone. The other 3 guys were fighting for the hill, holding the hill time. Purj was gone, rotating, making the move, truly being an OBJ player like we haven't seen since the GOAT Doug Sensor Martin, the OBJ GOAT out here. Purj had that role and filled it well. As much as he wasn't getting kills, he did the job of the team correctly, which is what translated for them for a pretty successful Major 2. Asim needs to kind of accept that role in order for this team to be successful and step in at the right times, in the right moments, and maybe get those kills Purj wasn't getting. But he definitely needs to be more of an OBJ player on this team, more than he ever has been on any other team he's been on. Yeah, but that control was ugly. The high rise was real gross, honestly. Yeah. Any other thoughts on Legion? I mean, we can talk about OpTic too while we're on here, because this is a little OpTic series as well. So we can hit on some OpTic thoughts.
I think OpTic, like, they go into this series, they just know that they're gonna win basically. So they kind of just take the piss from the start. Like, they did the same thing against Surge. Like, they ain't starting out the map thinking, all right, let's lock in. And I do think they should practice that because, like, you know, their problem against FaZe this year is going down 50 to 60 points. So you don't want to practice having slow starts when you play the shit teams, even if you know when it gets to 252. Like, you know that it's going to get to like 180, and then OpTic going to just get the last 70 seconds. And that happened against Surge, it happened against Vegas, and you can see it coming. That's what the good teams do. But
that's my point though. Like, that's my point though. It's like they know they're going to beat every other team bar FaZe, and like, you know, they'll have a good matchup versus Toronto and New York, whatever like that. But anyone else, it's just free coins to them. So they're not going to go in and try their absolute hardest. They can chill out for a little bit. And chilled out they did versus Vegas. Like, holy, no one was hitting the hill. They were definitely chilling. They probably thought someone like that.
Didn't lose a map.
We have something here from PD again.
Rotation the second time.
Pred is actually commenting on why Purj struggled in Legion, so we can watch a little bit of that really quick. Volume master for you guys. Here you go. We'll watch a little bit of this too.
Time on the P5, bro. It was criminal. I'm not gonna lie, dude. It was fucking criminal. Cause look how we're getting kills and we're just flying at the hill, right? Like I'm above Ken, Ken's behind me. Like we're playing around the objective while we're getting time. And like watch, look at the second P5. You'll see.
But now I know why, bro. Think about it. Now I know why Purj had some series where he was literally 0.4s. Because, bro, the way they're probably making him play is fucking insane. He's probably so uncomfortable.
Well, that's what.
Bro, he's dropping 0.4s because his teammates don't even know what the fucking hill is.
Well, that's why I wasn't trying to gas Purj, but I was like, I just felt bad for him because I knew that like just by playing against him, that like he was always trying to be selfless. And like there's times where you just gotta be selfless, obviously, but then there's obviously moments where you just gotta like get kills.
And right there, I think that sums it up fairly well. Purj got thrown into a role where his three teammates were the Slayers, the Friars, kill whores, and he has to literally be the true OBJ player. Like, we don't really see that role in COD much anymore. He had to be that guy that hits every rotation, hits the hill, does the dirty work, and every single time is taking the brute force of that. Do I think he also was losing objectively easy gunfights sometimes? Yes. So I'm not going to give him as much of a pass as they gave him. But we see him in challengers now. He's frying. He's very good. He's pulling that AR, doing well. He had a sub in the league, was shooting back in certain series. He did kind of get a shit end of the stick. I think Purj does maybe deserve another shot with a different team, and kind of we get a real flow and a real idea of how good Purj is as a player. Maybe this team just wasn't the perfect fit, and maybe by the end of this major, they feel, you know, we find out it was the wrong move to drop him. Maybe that OBJ thing was truly the glue that held the team together.
I said they shouldn't have dropped him.
You did.
Because guess what? He's the only fucking one that moves on the map properly. Clearly. And he's their IGL, so he's probably spamming everyone, yo, hit the hill, while they all sat there fucking tugged each other off.
Jesus.
Word to Rab.
Word to Rab. and Saint. But that's literally like, you know, do I think Asim makes a team better? I'd never said Asim makes a team better. Do I think they stay the same? Yeah. Purj wasn't like, you know, if you're doing what Purj's role is, you got to be like simp-esque player to go crazy and do all that stuff, especially with people kill whoring behind you. I mean, that's just impossible to do. And then, like I said, he made one bad play at that major where, you know, he chowed 5-5 stupidly, and that probably cost him his spot. This is what I keep saying about players. Like, some players just don't play well in certain teams. Like, Purj probably won't play well in Paris or Vegas, whatever they're called. I keep forgetting. But he won't play well in that team. But you put him on a team where, put him in 100 Thieves, he probably fries. With Dan Ghosty there, helping him out, he probably fries. I'm not saying they should drop anyone, but, you put Purj in the team where it's like they're all on the same wavelength of how they want to play COD, they probably fry.
That's one of the most unfortunate parts. Again, we spoke on this sometimes with Challengers players. Challengers players per situation, any player per situation, could be a completely different. They can give a completely different level of activity. Purj on this team had to fit this role in order for the team to be good. But if you put Purj on LAT, you put Purj on a Carolina maybe, he would become more of a Slayer role and have to take more of an offensive side, more of a active role in the kills department. And I think that's just one of the situations as a Challengers player, you have to kind of assess what your stock is going to be like if you go to a certain team, because there's a certain role you have to fill. And Purj right now, I think walking away from this, depending on how Vegas perform in this major, his stock at this point is a bit hurt because of what he had to do, the dirty work he had to do, and the kind of, the narrative spit because of bad KDs and such. But I think Purj is a really good player, and we see that in challengers, but that shine doesn't outshine the kind of level of narrative building that happens when you're in the league versus in challengers. Kind of sucks for a lot of challengers players.
I think my player to watch on Vegas going forward is obviously Asim, but it's also Attached to see how it goes, because we know how Attached plays a game. He's going to play for kills. That is how it is. And that's fine. Like, it's been the way that it is. And I mean, Attached mentioned this in a Breaking Point podcast episode that's coming up shortly with Drill, discussing the merits of playing for kills in certain instances. And obviously, you need kills to win COD maps. So there's always a trade-off between your playstyle. And it's not like Attached isn't trying to win the games. But I think with the way that Attached plays, he needs to be dropping, like, great numbers if they're going to win. Like, if he's going to play the way that he does, he needs to drop a 1.15, 1.2, like, every series if they're going to win. Or get some juicy hill time as well. So I think Attached is my player to watch. Look at the Slayer rating,
His hill time's pretty terrible. He's 30th in the league for hill time. He has 1,900 seconds. Putting it in perspective, yeah, 1,903 seconds. I'm pretty sure I'm reading this correct. That's below Estriel, below Lucky.
Look at Purj, man. He was doing it all. Justice of Purj. 72 seconds of hill time.
He's below Assault. He's below Metals, below Priestahh. Close to Vickle. Felony, Snoopy. Like, he's getting kills, but like, let's start hopping some hills as well. You look at Lamar, you look at Octane, the ARs get in the hill. You can fry in the hill. You can get kills in the hill, soak up some time, let your subs do the work. But he ain't hopping in that motherfucker. It's proven.
Absolutely. We could jump over to we cover OpTic, right? OpTic, it just looked good pretty much.
OpTic, yeah. We can discuss them in a bit more depth when we talk like Toronto and FaZe and how that matchup's going to be. But,
right. Maybe Rokkr?
There's one other team that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, sure, we can talk Rokkr, but
Boston more than Rokkr, honestly. I know.
Slightly more interesting team in this series. Look, honestly, let's do Rokkr first, because I know,
special guest is not coming because of some team reasons, so he can't come on at the moment right now, but he did promise that he will come on a different day. I will reveal the special guest. Gunless was supposed to come on, but for other reasons, he couldn't come on today. He promised, though, he will be on a Dope Check episode in the next few weeks, so we will have a special guest. Special guest appears with Gunless very soon.
Gunless bottled it when I told him that if he comes on, Beans is stepping in as well, and we're gonna get the live bang out.
We've lost the Dope Check pool. That's what we've lost. We had Doug. We've used all our Dope Check pool for one episode. A good episode, by the way. You should go watch it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we've lost all of our pool. We got to start paying people. Rab, I know you're making bank right now. Ace, multi-millionaire. I'm the brokest one here. So
yeah,
realistically, you got to start paying for guests.
Is the brokest rich person broke? Nah.
Facts. Well said.
Come on,
let's stop pocket watching. Let's get into this Minnesota Rokkr game. It was a stellar
Rokkr, I ain't
showing.
gonna lie, these guys are shit as well. Like, if you're going game 5 round 11 with Boston, you are dog shit. Respectfully, this was
that, bro.
This was cheeks, bro. You can't tell me they were good, but they only won because pentagram with RX instead of RA at the end is just shocking, bro. You can't tell me this is an impressive series. They only won because Boston bottled this shit, and for some reason Boston played Invasion Search, which their absolute dog shit. I got slammed 6-0. They bodied them in the control. Vista was a Ben Beans masterclass. Like, I'm impressed by Rokkr winning this series against the worst, like the bottom team in the league. I don't know if they're quite the worst team in the league, but they're dead last in the league.
I wouldn't say I'm impressed of it. Like, I agree with you, Rab. I wouldn't say I'm impressed, but positive showing for the first 2 maps. I think lack of composure for the next 2. I think if you're gonna, I've always said this, you need to be good at control to stop reverse sweeps happening. You look at control. Yeah, it is. You sit there, you look at it, 3-0. Oh, fuck, boys, we're looking like shit on that. And then you boom, hop into a Vista. Ben Beans just absolutely fried your shit. And then, a 6-5. I don't necessarily think it's a bad showing from Rokkr, but like you can't crumble like that, especially after a 6-0 showing in the second map to go 2-0 up. Like after that, you should be on the high flying. It's like knocking a man down, like when he's already on the ground, like, you know, kick the living shit out of him, fuck him up.
We also
Standy did have controller issues, to be fair.
There is intel. There is intel. There is intel. I'm gonna reveal. Lamar dropped it here, but Standy did have.
Standy did tweet this.
Oh, he tweeted as well. He had a broken controller actually. And again, I want to hear people say it's excuses, but if you win and then mention it, it's not an excuse per se. Like he had a poor performance, of course. It's very uncharacteristic for any CDL player to what was he 0-10 or 0 and some crazy number to start out the series. Like it was a wild start, 0-10, 0-11. I don't know what it was exactly, but yeah, he had controller issues. He had a broken controller, and I think map 4, he couldn't even slide cancel anymore. So, you know, not what you want to see happen.
What the hell is going on with these controller companies? Sib's had a broken controller for 7 months.
Sib has a broken controller. Envoy had a broken controller. You're standing with a broken controller. I mean, Lamar's had a messed up controller a few times. You know, I've heard other pros complain about like a certain stick not working or something is sticking a little too much or it's too loose. It's really, I don't know. Is it Battle Beaver Scuff? Someone's got to, we need a third-party company to come in and save the day. I don't know. Tony, can you help us out, bro?
I'm still not impressed by this Rokkr team, but I will give him a little bit of time. I just think that, like, if you're only getting through a series by beating Boston in 2 searches when they made some of the most shambolic plays I've ever seen watching competitive COD, and they literally can't win a search to save their life right now, and they lost their first series in Game 5 to Miami, like, that ain't impressive yet. If this Rokkr team destroys LAG, and if they beat Thieves, who they play, I think, maybe next week or the week after, then I'll start to take them seriously as contenders to get top 4. But right now, I don't think it's going to happen. Gunless also had, like, the dynamic between Accuracy and Gunless is quite interesting just to see how it develops, because in the first couple of series they played, Gunless was, like, the one making most of the impact. Lamar played really well in this one. But Gunless kind of dropped off a little bit, so that was interesting, especially in the big grudge match against Beans.
I was expecting more from Pierce with the Beans thing. I was scrolling through his tweets, hoping for an absolute grueler. Good old tweet from Pierce, but you know, it was a very calm Pierce for that series, especially a 6-5 last map. I do think if Gunless 3-0'd him, there was going to be a tweet. But because it ended like that, it was like, fucking hell, that's like, Jesus Christ, I can't tweet him shit now, can I?
I think one thing you did mention the kind of the balance between Accuracy and Gunless and how that's going to develop. It's good to see, though, that while Gunless is having a little bit of a stinker, Lamar's piecing. And then last series, when Lamar was having a little bit of a slower series, Gunless was piecing. That's a good dynamic to see, that someone can step up at the right time when they need be. And Lamar had a great series this one. Linz also had a great series. Eli with his control issues. Rokkr, interesting dynamic. Gonna develop it out. I think this is a big win too. I think if they had lost this one, it would have been a moment that, like, not crumbles your team entirely, but if you're losing to the 12th place team in a reverse sweep fashion, it's just like it's soul crushing, right? It's not as bad as the OpTic control nightmare, but it's a bad dream at minimum. So Rokkr, I think that's what we get with them. But I want to jump to Boston. I know we were messaging a little bit during the series in the Discord, just talking a little bit about what we thought. Us three, this dope check, they were checking our dope to a different degree. So Rab, Trey, I'm gonna let you guys start. Boston Breach, thoughts? What's happening? What do we got for them right now?
I mean, I might need to power up for this shit. Like,
you want me to go first?
Yeah, I think just go first, Trey. Just let me chill a little bit, drink some water, and then let's see where we go.
Let me talk to you about this Boston team while I order some food.
I can start if you want, man. What up?
Where is my shadow GM? Because he is cooked and gave everyone salmonella. Food poisoning. I asked him what the plan was. Yeah, he gave me some PR response, good media response, PR bullshit. Yeah, and now we're here. Where do you see yourself? Where do you know? I gave him the future. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself? Well, you know, if I, terrible. Shout out Beans though. That guy can shoot. My apologies, Beans, that you have to deal with what you've been given. But wow, this is by far not a good showing. And it just makes Doug look like an idiot, to be honest with you.
I mean, the thing is, it's funny, right? Because Doug says he don't make the decision, so it ain't Doug's fault. But we know the reality.
No, but he
is that
admitted,
plays
he
with Penta.
admitted that he was pushing the agenda for Penta. And we know for a fact that, you know, it's pretty, it's pretty much there that he kind of, you know, forced that kind of move because he kind of admitted it.
I'll tell you what this move does do to the team is, look, we talk about Snoopy, right? And his in-game ability, like his game IQ, right? Is he making the right plays? Is he common well? Is he making good decisions in key moments? Snoopy looks bloody good compared to Pentagram. Doug's done a fantastic job building up the Snoopy PR because all of a sudden, you look at Snoopy's plays, you look at Penta's plays, you think, damn, this Snoopy kid, his IQ must be like nearly 100. Because what am I seeing on the Pentagram side?
He's doing it to spite Ace. That's what it is.
I got
yeah, Snoopy looks nice on this shit, bro. I could not believe what I was watching. Beans is legit. Everybody knows this. If anyone actually watched his gameplay when he was in the league last year, everyone knows this guy can shoot well, brings the energy. He's got positive attributes to him as a player.
He was
Priestahh and
willing
Beans,
them in that control. I just want to say, he
Oh
was
my God,
willing
yeah, I mean-
them in that control. Solo-handedly, everyone remembers the 4-piece at the,
The hard
end.
point was- yeah.
The entire
I mean, that was the hard
control,
point, the
he
Priestahh
was
hard point.
classic map out of him. Wow. Sorry to
Yeah,
cut you
this is a
off.
hard point, but yeah.
It
No,
just,
but
it
you're
just
right.
makes me laugh. I know Beans is probably sound like, fucking hell, bro. Every time I get a spot, I just can't do anything. Because Beans is by far one of the you know, one of the straightest shooters I've seen like come to COD since I've like been competing. He's the real deal.
Slashes in the chat. I love it. No, for real. I mean,
Listen,
they called him the EU
Slasher back.
Dashy. EU
Bring
Dashy,
Slasher
Fat
back.
Dashy.
Bring Slasher back, move Priestahh to a sub. That Slasher Beans frying. Priestahh subbing up with Snoopy. Fuck it, why not?
I mean, I had a point prepared on Slasher as well because, look, Priestahh and Beans, they were the one that actually played well in this series. And fair play. But the issue is, even with those guys on the team, they still have no dog within in their search and destroy. Like, the debate was, this Slasher team in search is dog shit. Why? Slasher's meant to be a good search player. Is Slasher washed? I don't know what the coaches thought, but you know what I mean. They're still bad at search. They're worse at search now than they were with Slasher. So Slasher clearly weren't the problem with their search and destroy gameplay. The problem is more integral than that. Beans and Priestahh are playing well, but yet they're still losing searches. I wonder why. And I mean, look, we have a couple of screenshots here to share, Ace, from especially the game 5. The game 2, it's like they just tear out of that map. Whatever.
Here's the 4-4 game 5. Yeah, bro. I have something to say about this. I'm gonna let you start. I'm gonna let you cook for this one. But I'm gonna follow up your chefing with a good dessert, with a nice little sundae.
Right. I genuinely like. I want to believe that this shit was accidental. I cannot imagine what's going on here. People cooked Pentagram when he made that play on Karachi. That Karachi round 11 when he dropped down off top AC onto like that kind of thing you can jump on top of and drop the bomb there. And it was like, damn, Penta, he blacked out on that one. But, you know, whatever. He gets a pass. He was making faded plays in the respawns. This is just unforgivable. I don't understand what's going on. They have a 3-stack over towards the A site where Rokkr are attacking. He's down low. He knows there's a guy there. His back is covered. His mid is covered. Penta has nothing to worry about. All he's got to do is, you know, jiggle, play an off angle, back up if you want. But no, Dolphin dives around the corner and dies for free. I just don't get it. Like, people say he blacked out, but like, does he need some of Dan Ghosty's special strain to calm him down? Like, what are we doing right now? Because this is such a crucial round. What does blacking out mean? Like, what does this mean? Is that
I don't like, I don't like the whole blacking out thing. It's we're professional players on a decent contract. Like, what do you mean blacking out?
I mean, why chow? And I mean, the next round, the round 11 was probably even worse. Like, because they get the first blood. Snoopy is in a nice position. And sure, this is miscoms from, you know, Beans and from, It's got to be a somewhere. It's another IMGA one. So like, I don't know if you have another. I can link it to you if you want.
No, there's only one.
But I mean, there is another one, but you're good. I'll link it to you now. But I mean, this shit was even worse. Like Beans and Penta somehow not communicating. Someone's got to watch the right hand side. Standy just slides in for free, gets a 2-piece. Like
There we go.
It's plays like this that make me think, what the fuck is going on? I genuinely saw this, and I would drop Pentagram immediately. If I'm the coach, I don't care. Like, there ain't enough time. Like, this is the issue. You get these players, they're in challenges, and I understand the frustration with not getting picked up to the league. But once you get picked up to the league, you've got to deliver. You ain't got all day. You get a couple of series to prove your worth as a player, especially, you know, if you've been saying, look, I got my chance. Finally, I'm going to prove myself. That's what Penta tweeted, right? He got his chance. He was like, look, I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to prove I'm valuable and all this. He comes and drops a 0.8 with some of the most brain-dead players I've ever seen in a professional game. Like, I just don't see the hype. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I see why Pentagram has been stuck in challenges for the last couple of years. I see why Thieves never brought him in. I mean, sure, their team was good, but you know what I mean? When they could have brought him in back in Vanguard, they just made a role change instead. Makes sense. I mean, I just don't see how he has more upside than many other players. I look at guys like Hixie. They're out there, winners, sitting in challenges, struggling to get back into the league, watching stuff like this, thinking, I can make a better play than that in this moment. Like, this is just criminal. You've got to look at guys that, I mean, Vivid's out there as an option. Just pretty wild. I mean, I just got pissed off about this because I couldn't believe what I was watching. Genuinely couldn't believe it.
I mean, this kind of reminds me a situation similar to like the early Miami Heretics roster, right? It was kind of an ode to the original Heretics team, but some of those guys just clearly couldn't keep up with the pace of the CDL and the level of talent we have these days. Pentagram, as much as he quote-unquote deserves a chance and the Boston Breach Academy team was dissolved, you got to kind of accept that, like, if you were that guy in Himothy for that long, somebody would have taken a chance on you, including your own organization that you were on their academy team for. They never did. Now you're getting forced in, and the team is suffering in a 12th place spot where they can't afford to take losses anymore. They're suffering because of your performance. There was a moment.
This was a must-win.
Absolute must-win, right? And then there was certain moment. There's a moment on the Karachi. Linz gets a kill on top red stairs. Pentagram just runs by the door, back turned, running out the junk, and they get shot in the back for free. You didn't look at your red dot. You didn't hear the comm. What's going on here? Not only is the gun skill, I don't think is to the par of some of the CDL talent. I think some of the intelligence and the plays made is not the CDL level talent. It's unfortunate because the guys put in so many years in challengers and had some decent placings. I'm not going to say it's consistently great placings, but at a certain point, Boston, you guys are shooting yourself in the foot. You have Beans, Priestahh, and Snoopy, all three of those guys. Not that I love that roster off bat. They're shooters. They can shoot back. Snoopy had some ridiculous snaps. Beans had a ridiculous snaps. Priestahh was consistent. You got to get a fourth guy in that can help out your team and make you guys get out of that 12th place spot and possibly qualify for champs. Because if after all of this drama, you drop the world champion off of your roster, and if you still get 12th, shame on you. Absolute shame on you and your whole organization.
If they keep Pentagram, there's no way they're making champs. Like, I think there's no chance. Because you're going to get this shit in search. Like, this is what it is.
Get Hixie.
Be a great shout. Would be a great shout.
Beans and Hixie already play with each other. Priestahh actually playing, Priestah's playing well. And then Snoopy's playing well too. Add someone in there that knows what the fuck they're doing.
We also had this too. After the I want to just recognize this as well. After the win, Rokkr versus Breach, Lamar turns to the camera and gives an ode to Slasher, an ode to Thanos.
Skin of their teeth survived the round 11.
It's pretty nice. I mean, they only just about won, but
I mean, still the classic Thanos snap. I mean, to be fair, imagine that team, right? Even if Snoopy couldn't leave, imagine it was Slasher, Beans, Priestahh, and Snoopy. AR heavy, kind of weird team, but even that would, I think, be better than what they have now with Pentagram, to be honest. Be a really weird team, but still.
I love Lamar. He might have the worst snap of all time, though.
Yeah, bro, we gotta get, you know.
Yeah. Listen,
some
crooked
energy in
ass
this
fingers,
bitch,
bro.
You know what I mean?
Yo, Lamar, chalk scrims. Yeah, you go and snap scrims, buddy. I don't know what that was. That was most.
Beta snap.
Hey, he just looked at us.
I
Hey,
mean,
that Thanos is snapping,
bro, you're doing it for
Thanos
camera.
brings
Like,
the
you
heat.
gotta like show it. Because if you do a real snap, and look how weird this looks. That looks weird. You gotta like emphasize it.
Yeah, but we can't deny it was a terrible snap. You know, love Lamar. You know, I do. I gas up Lamar. I gas up Lamar every week. He needs bringing down to earth sometime. All right, Lamar, snap was terrible.
To be fair, Boston Breach, if you're at this point, guys, and you have to keep Pentagram, what do? I'm going to bring that question to Trey. As a pro player, when you're in a situation where a guy is not performing, what can you do? What are you supposed to do? How do you compensate for a player that's kind of keeping you back?
With an organization like Boston, who have seemingly decent funds and want to be the best team or want to compete with the top 4, and you've looked at this, you see the team's playing well, you see 3 players that are actually frying, and one guy's like kind of letting them down, not just KD wise, but actually on the map looking lost and damage wise. You got to do what you got to do. You got to, you know, be a business, and you want to be the best. You got to drop him. You got to pick with someone else. You got to get rid of Doug too.
Doug, right? Like, I was just gonna gas Doug up real quick, a little bit, just a little bit. I'm not going crazy, but I do think that Doug honestly does have a good eye for talent, generally speaking, but he's not going to be right all the time. Like, if you're Dens, if you're the actual decision makers that are meant to make the decisions at Boston, although maybe Doug is really pulling the strings as we theorized, you got to say, all right, Doug, look, we're going to listen to your perspective. If you think Beans is good, if you think Snoopy's good, if you think Pentagram's good, we're going to take your word for it. We're going to give him a try. But he's not going to be right all the time. Like, just because he gets the Doug endorsement doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be CDO caliber. Like, if Doug is right 50% of the time on the players that he suggests, that's a pretty damn good rate of return. But, you know, so it ain't always going to work out. Feel bad roasting players, but it's like, this is the nature.
Who's been a part of the Doug Academy that wasn't already good?
I mean, it's kind of these guys now. I mean, it's
Penta, Ghosty, Snoopy. There's one more too. There's one more guy. Who is it?
Yeah,
I mean, Shawnee was good. Shawnee was good too.
Yeah, but Shawnee was there before Doug.
Yeah, Crump's good shout.
Was he there before?
He would go forfeit champs with me.
Oh, I mean on the Boston team. I was just saying.
Yeah, no, I'm asking what talent is
discovered.
Doug, like, sussed out. Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't already good.
Kremp was already good though, I think, before all that. So, I mean, yeah, the Doug shot. I think that is a fair take. I think him and Clayster have a pretty good track
Doug's like
record.
the Pep Guardiola. Doug's like the Man City.
No, I think Doug is a good magnifier. That's what I will give him for. He's a magnifier that if you have talent, sure, you're already showcasing talent. Ghosty was frying in college COD, but no one was really watching college COD like that. So he gave him a platform to shine and be seen by more people. So that's where I do give credit to Doug Sensor for doing that, because without him, there are a few players that no one would have really recognized without his platforming. The other thing I want to say, this is very crucial because I've heard a lot of caca just around people, and on this show too, man. I've heard a lot of caca about this guy. Priestahh's disgusting, okay? I've heard a lot of talk about Priestahh, like this guy can't shoot back. This guy is this and this. Priestahh's been consistently one of their best players. 1.02 across Major 2. Best KD. It wasn't Snoopy. It was Priestahh. Major 3. Priestahh 1.13. Why is everyone saying Beans is shooting, but not Priestahh? Every time I hear a lot of criticism of this team, even when I hear from fans who are Snoopy lovers, everyone's like, Priestahh needs to get dropped, Priestahh this, Priestahh that. But he's been one of their most consistent players, not only in kills, but in making the right play. I'm going to make the argument here that Priestahh might very well be the most underrated and most absurdly criticized player in the CDL. Why is there so much Priestahh hate? The guy fries. His Slayer rating isn't bad. He's been shooting back. Why so much Priestahh hate on the TL, on this show, and by fans in general? Can someone fill me in?
I think he's definitely improved.
Yeah, I think
don't-
he was by far. I think he was by far one of their worst players.
When? Major two?
When I was watching him having a donut and he couldn't get a trade on a guy laying down. That's when. And we all sat here in a call going, "Hello, hello, hello, hello."
There's
I think Priestahh goes
every
through
player has
cycles
moments. Yeah, every player has
of, like-
moments, bro. Like,
No, listen.
Priestahh will have a couple of months stint of being respectable, and then he'll go through a cycle where he's kind of getting shit on. But
All
we'll see what
jokes
happens
aside,
again.
all jokes aside, he's been fine, but you know, he's on the worst team in the game.
You can't get that much credit from me because this is the point. If you put Slasher instead of Beans in that situation, I don't know what their comms were round 11, but I want to believe there's a world in which, you know, I don't know how much Priestahh contributes on that aspect, maybe than what Slasher could do. I know he's a veteran and everything. He's been around a long time. But from like a leadership perspective, when you've got Snoopy, Penta, and Beans, you need someone who's a veteran head who has the leadership characteristics that they need. And Priestahh potentially could, but I don't know if he necessarily does, just because of the guys that he's teamed with and the teams that he's been on. I don't think he's ever needed to necessarily develop that part of his character, which means that, you know, when the lights are quite bright, I think that there's other players that could do a better job. But I do think Priestahh is a respectable player, and he's a world champion. We can't talk shit. But
He's won an event every single year at the CDL. Like, there's no disrespect there, but when we see a team that isn't as good as his previous teams, he wasn't good.
Mama Priestah's been frying as well. Let me find the tweets.
I just want to showcase this as well, right? In the control at day 1, 22 and 15, highest KD, and just highest damage, our second highest damage in the lobby. Map 4, right? Everyone talks about the Beans masterclass. Priestahh had it was 33 and 19. He had a 1.74. He was actually playing statistically better than Beans was. Beans had more impactful plays, but just to give credit where credit's due, I've seen just a lot of weird hate on Priestahh, and I don't like it. And and again, people can go back in earlier Dope Check episodes when I brought this up, Major 2, when he had the highest KD towards the end of it, right before the Major. I mentioned the same thing, and I was getting roasted for it. I'm like, bro, no, Priesthah's really good, but he, for some reason, worst team, just getting a lot of hate that I don't believe is necessary. The kid, not the kid, he's a grown-ass man with wins, man. The guy is fucking nasty at this game. I will say, he's fucking nasty.
I guess the other point is,
that's
like,
a loss.
They do have the timing is quite good for Priestahh given the gas, because Subliners are struggling, right? So it's like New York is simultaneously struggling and Priestah's playing quite well, admittedly on a bad team. But yeah, these Mama Priestahh tweets, I just chucked them in the chat, are pretty saucy, I'm not gonna lie. Not saucy in that way. Respect Mama Priestahh.
Yeah, I was like saucy. What are you talking about, bro?
Spicy, fiery,
okay, there you
heated,
go.
whatever you want to say.
There's one.
But yeah, the implication, of course, being that Subliners, they made a bit of a mistake, which is true when you look at it from the Subliner side. And I think Priestahh is also playing respectably enough that you can make the argument. And it's always nice to see a bit of support here. I know that they were joking on the flank that Sib's mum needs to come out and you know, give her perspective on the matter, get in the replies, get some beef.
The parents on Twitter thing always makes me laugh. It does. It's so.
Was it Standy you told his mum not to tweet anymore?
I mean, I'd be doing the same if my mum was tweeting about my matches. I'd take the phone off her. I'd hack her Twitter. Bear in mind, my mum and dad have Twitter. My dad's tweeted me multiple times, and I've literally texted him saying stop.
You're fucking comedy, bro. I don't know. This is the first time I'm seeing it. I actually didn't see these. Like, I'm a Twitter fiend, especially with the COD community. I think I follow Mama Priestahh too, but these didn't pop up on my TL. But yeah, the parents on Twitter thing. It is.
I think it's weird.
I think it's different than a fan, just because if it's a parent, you're clearly, whether you are or not hearing things from your child, whether you are or aren't, it's gonna be interpreted that way. It reminds me of the Asim flank situation. Reminds me of that. Whether Ben or Tommy or whatever heard it from someone else or from Asim, how people perceive it is gonna be the problem. This, when you tweet this out, the perception of it is terrible. The implication of it is terrible. You're kind of hating, which I'm not a fan of hating. You know, there's enough hate in this one. There's enough hate going on. Too much hating happening.
He's not a fan of hating. Okay. All right, yeah, okay, okay.
Wait, whoa, Rab, whoa, that was the toxic of you. Who do I? There's hate with backup and evidence. There's hate just to hate. I don't hate on anyone's place, their money, their career. I hate on.
You said you didn't like Snoopy because he didn't dap you up.
Right, because of evidence. That's evidence. That's evidence. There's a reason.
You never spoke to Snoopy in your life. You go, yeah, fuck that kid. He didn't fist bump me.
Wait, time out. And what did I say the following show? Let's remind people what I did the following show. What did I do, Trey?
No, I didn't pay attention.
You apologized.
I apologized. I didn't know there was no like big blow up.
You soft guy.
Bro, get out of my face.
He turned soft ever. He turned soft ever since that one.
I know, it's crazy, huh? I wake up in the morning fueled by hatred. It's brilliant.
Yeah, you should see my DMs. Die, Trey, you fat bastard. Ace, soft. Big softy these days.
Bro, I tweeted out OpTic's ass one time. I tweeted off OpTic's ass one time, and I got hate. I got death threats in my DMs too.
And when was the last time you tweeted it? That was probably the last time. You soft motherfucker. hey, yo, Rab, he ain't built like us UK boys.
What?
I know.
What?
I tried too quick, you know. Stand up.
Yeah. The crazy cheese I'm seeing right now. You know what? I love OpTic. That's all I gotta say. But I'm gonna say this. This kind of hate though, this Mama Priestahh hate, unnecessary. And wait. What's the other quote? I think Michael Jordan said it when he's like, "It's easy to talk shit when you're up, but a real winner, a real champion, talks shit when they're down." Bro, they gave up a diamond to play with Rocks. I love Priestahh, like I said. You guys heard me gassing him up, but his team's 12th. The other team's 4th. So if you're saying that, it's just kind of OD. It's unnecessary. I think it's weird. Parents on Twitter is weird. It's not weird. Same thing with girlfriends and parents. I have the same opinion. Both cool to support your loved one. God bless. But to come in and show hate, that's where I think the weirdness comes in. And that's a fine line between being involved, but knowing your involvement is different than a regular fan.
I mean, she just subtweeted at the end of the day. Like, she doesn't actually, like, make it...
To be fair, this was on the
specific.
Thursday.
Brother.
Was this Thursday? Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
it
this was Thursday.
Yeah, this is before the matches, actually, I think. And then she tweeted the thing after the game.
Yeah, but that's...
After they lost. I mean, it's pretty obvious what she's talking
it's
about.
Intertwined,
but, like,
yeah.
She's not atting Sim and being like, you shitter, get off that team. You know, my son's better than you. But, you know, I think it's fun. I think it's quite endearing sometimes.
Endearing. I could listen. I love my mum to pieces. I think if my mum started going rogue on some guy on Twitter, I'd fucking lose her.
I think it's nice when the
my son's fucking amazing at Call of Duty. What are you saying? He didn't lose him this game. That guy Gizmo did. I'd go home and fucking clip her.
Speaking of drama, speaking of a little bit of rivalry, a little matchup. Can we jump over to the FaZe Toronto one, man? This is the spice that I really wanted to chat up about. Can we get to this? Yeah, good. Any more thoughts on Boston Breach? Any more thoughts on Mama Priestahh?
I've said my piece on Boston. Shout out Slash as well in the chat, talking trash on Boston. I always respect
that. Love that guy. Shout out Slash. Listen, Slash, you come on any time you want, buddy. If you ever want to, you know.
Oh, if you ever want to hop on, yeah, no worries. Please, feel free. I'll add you anytime. But yeah, get Slasher back in the league. The Slasher World League was a great place. Once he left the league, it was a coincidence the day he left the league. The gun drama started happening. The GA drama started happening. I'm just saying, when Thanos is out, the balance is off. That's all I got to say. All right, jumping over to this, though. What a series to look forward to, but what a letdown in terms of series. Do we agree? Are we on that same kind of wavelength?
I mean, I was hoping for something.
Yeah.
Be back, maybe.
It was kind of pathetic, unfortunately. Series count 3-0 didn't even look close. Didn't even look commendable. And very rarely do you see this kind of stat line. Scrap below a 1.0, Envoy 0.55, Insight and CleanX both at 0.65s basically. Guys, was FaZe just shooting back that well? Are they that good at the game? Or is Toronto in emergency, red flag, SOS danger mode?
Yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah, that's just, you know, I keep going back to my point. People want to try maps against the best team in the game. Keep giving them confidence. Please do. These will be your Major 3, Major 4, and Champs winners if you keep doing that. And I'm not saying Toronto done it, but Toronto done it first. Any shock that Trey's right? They had a fall off ever since then. I said this in my stream the other day. Ever since they said they tested out maps versus Drazah versus FaZe and that, and then all that Drazah stuff happened, they have not looked the same whatsoever.
So, okay, map
He
confidence.
just knows ball, unfortunately. But I also don't even think it matters, like, because even in this series, people are saying, well, you know, they played maps FaZe are good at. Doesn't matter, like, right now. Doesn't matter what maps you play FaZe on. You could play them sub-base, sub-base, sub-base. They're still going to shit on you in current form. I actually want to see, you know what I'm looking forward to? FaZe at some point are going to pull out sub-base hardpoint. Because we know that they've been getting slammed on it. I guarantee they're good at that map now. Like, I'm convinced they could. There's no way they're not good at that map. Like, they're going to pull it out against a team at some point. They might not even play it in the qualifiers. But my feeling is that behind the scenes, FaZe have been, like, leveling up on sub-base, and they're going to whip it out at Champs or Major 4 or something. And
when everyone least expects it.
3. Yeah, and everyone least expects it. They're going to play it in, like, a big series against OpTic or something, and they're going to play well on it. But we'll see on that. FaZe are just... They have so much confidence. I also think the one thing I love about FaZe, at least the way they're playing, is that Drazah has, like, made them toxic. You know what I mean? Like, Drazah infected them with some degree of toxicity.
I
which
think it was Cell.
just makes them even better, bro. Maybe it's Cell. I don't know.
I think it's Cell because Cell's been shooting bodies, bro.
The body
been
shooting has been
violating.
absurd. Like, actually, I might find a clip, Ace, real quick, because this is genuinely hilarious.
No problem.
Drazah's toxic. Drazah does the outer game stuff, but Cell's in game. Like, he don't care whether he's 1-1, 1-0, 2-1-0 down or something like that. Cell just lighting people up, and then you got Simp and Abizi laughing, and you got Drazah tweeting after it. This is the villain COD team that you don't want to lose against, and you can't even stop thinking about losing against them.
I want to give my 2 cents on the dog comment. Remember in the beginning of the year when FaZe were losing a couple maps? I remember when 2 individuals were telling me FaZe didn't have the dog in them. And I said Drazah was going to come in and change the look of that team and give them the dog because he's a notorious, you know, shit talker. He gets hated on. He has the dog in him, and he's proven it. Trey, you're always right, and you're rubbing off on me because we might just always be right.
If anyone can find out where I said that FaZe don't have the dog in them, you may say that. I just said that, you know, in the finals, sometimes, you know, they look a bit shaky, which is pretty, I'd say that's pretty fair statement. Rab said they didn't have the dog in them, but now Rab, opinions?
I mean, I think times change, yeah. But, like, also,
yeah, Rab.
This is always kind of how it's. This is always been how it is. They've played 2 finals this season. They're 1 for 1. Okay, let's see what happens in the next finals. I don't think they're going to have a problem with that now, though, because they seem to have just reached another level of, you know, Cold War level confidence where they know they're the best. I think before last season before, it's been like, well, you know, I don't think they were that confident that they would necessarily win. At the moment, it feels like they're confident they're going to smash anybody. Honestly, you're probably right, Trey, that ever since Toronto gave them that situation. I mean, have a look at this shit from Cell. It ain't even just Cell, but Cell is shooting bodies that his teammates killed. Not even his kills. Guys that his teammates took down. This is hilarious, honestly. I love this clip.
They're up 100, and I love the caption to it. That's my favorite part right now. Doing this on a highly contested hill is so disrespectful because it is so disrespectful.
Before their major. We'll be back after this.
Like,
before.
It's so toxic. But did anyone expect this series to be anything other than toxic? No. And did we want it to be toxic? I think absolutely. As a fan, this is what you want to see. You want to see some grit,
it ain't even
bro.
toxic. It ain't even toxic anymore. It's bullying.
Absolutely, it is.
Like before it was toxic. But then, like when they were going back and forth and stuff like that. But this is just you can't even fight back.
We also have this clip too of Dashy talking about warming up FaZe before the Ultra match, so we can watch this as well. A couple clips here. I'm gonna put up the volume a little bit because I know it's gonna be low. Stream clips are always super low. But yeah, let's peep this really quick.
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate it, bro. My bad. I'm just setting everything up. Shit, don't mind me. Warmed up a little too hot. Let's just say the warm-up was a lot more competitive in that match. A lot more.
The warm-up was more competitive than that match itself. So I have a question for you guys. Is it destined, basically, for the next major, maybe the next few events, maybe the champs? Are we basically destined just to see in the grand finals OpTic FaZe? Is there anyone that can compete? Thoughts?
I mean, I don't want to say anything because I'm always right. So I don't want to jinx. I don't want to, piss anyone off in the chat. Because I'm always correct these days. Kind of getting a bit boring. So I'll let Rab take over and see if I agree with him.
Okay.
I think Toronto have a chance of getting back there. Like New York last season started well, they fell off and they got back there. I genuinely think that series, what we saw yesterday, is just all confidence. Like Toronto are not confident in their gameplay right now. I don't even know if they're necessarily so confident in each other. You see it in the player cams. My question is Scrappy sitting there losing that series yesterday and thinking, damn, where am I going to play next year? Am I going to be here? Who am I going to drop if I get the decision next year? Am I maybe going to go to OpTic? Like, I wonder what Scrap's head at. Is he thinking, all right, let me make sure we get this team back to the best? Or is Scrappy already thinking, next year beating these FaZe boys, I might need to do something a little bit different to get to that point? Because Scrappy's the only guy shooting back at the moment. Envoy has been shocking. I mean, we looked at the numbers earlier. We're going to
Scratch probably sat there thinking, fuck it, I got to stop beefing everyone. He beefed Raza, he's beefed Benji, now they can't get a win.
Beef Kismet last year, and how that ended. So, similar story, but it's true. Like, you play FaZe, and you've got Kleenex shooting back, and you've got Scrappy shooting back, and that's it. Like, Insight's fall off also is worthy of conversation. Hixie's tweet as well, we should just bring up real quick, Ace, because I know that was on the flank. They tweeted that out. Just since deleted, but yeah, I mean, we looked at it briefly, but you can just bring it up on screen because Hixie tweeted out crazy, and he was also replying to other people basically saying, look, put me on that team, and it's not necessarily going to be the same story that they're currently experiencing. So I don't know what the question is, because for me, it wasn't long ago that I thought, you know what, this World Championship is going to be really interesting. We go into a championship Sunday thinking any of these 4 teams can win. That is not the case anymore to me. I don't think Subliners are going to win an event. I think it's doubtful that Toronto win an event. They possibly could turn it around, but they are going to need to find something. And I think Envoy has to get his confidence back massively because he's in his head big time, I think, in the hard points. Because his search and control is still fine, but his hard points are just straight up bad. And maybe that's a product of Toronto's cycle, but that wasn't the case during stage 1. And Insight's also been poor. I mean, even his search and destroy hasn't been good, which is the other point. So now it's like you go into a championship Sunday, and at Major 2 and at Major 1, I didn't know who was going to win those events. Now I think we can be pretty damn clear who's making the finals of these events. And that means to me that by the end of the season, there is going to be a pretty big discrepancy in terms of skill gap between FaZe and at least one of these teams. It might be Toronto. It's probably more likely than not to be New York. And that ain't a one-man change. That's a blow it up. That's like a, holy shit. Because we know what happened at the end of Cold War. Like, the parallels between this phase and Cold War phase are immeasurable. Watching that series yesterday looked like Cold War phase. Like, I've not seen a series that reminded me so much of Cold War phase with the body shots and just absolutely unkillable. Like, even when they would solo chow and you would have an advantage in the gunfight, they would still make you one shot. Like, the gunfights you were watching were just ridiculous. This is another good example. I know that Money Hill Stats just did a tweet as well discussing the similarities between the 2 years. And we know what happened after Cold War. Everyone blew it up. The OpTic merger happened. And they tried to find a way to beat FaZe in the next season, which they successfully did. And I feel like the season's almost going the opposite way to as expected, maybe, when it's getting less competitive with time, which is maybe surprising, but yeah, that's how it seems to me.
If I'm gonna put my 2 cents on this, I am at a point now. Here's that Money Hill Stats tweet, by the way. But if I'm gonna put my 2 cents on this entirety thought of OpTic FaZe for the rest of the year, truly, I think Call of Duty's being blessed. I think the COD gods are looking down on us, shining, showing their light. That every event from now on, with these new maps and everything else, I think we do truly see, at least for Major 3 and Major 4, a FaZe OpTic final at both events. I don't know who else can compete. They may take a series off them in online matches, maybe. But when it comes to LAN, when it comes to the times that matter, OpTic and FaZe are the only two teams that look composed, complete, and ready to play at all times. I don't think anyone else has the means right now to go up against them and challenge those two for a championship Sunday spot in grand finals.
I also genuinely think this FaZe team might well be better than Cold War FaZe. Like, because Cold War FaZe, they did not have the competition that this season is providing. Like, OpTic are a much better team this year than they were in Cold War. Toronto, I think, are a better team this year than they were in Cold War. Dallas were not particularly good that year. And you look at the numbers. Like, I mean, actually look at these numbers. They have more 3-0s this season. They have a better map record. They have the same series record as they did in Cold War. And that was the season where they won 4 of 6 events. Like, this is the best team that FaZe have put together in the CDL era. I think they're better than they were in Cold War. They may go down as to winning more in Cold War just because I don't think there was quite the competition. But I think this is the scariest team that FaZe have ever built. I think Draza is the perfect man to close out this team. In the same way that if Kenny and Draza had been swapped, I don't think either team is as good. I think Kenny is the perfect piece that OpTic needed. I think Draz, his personality, is the perfect piece that FaZe needed. And as many of us feared, they found a way to unlock something in that FaZe team right now, which is, you know, as deadly as it's probably ever been. Like, Cold War FaZe have this ethereal quality of being almost untouchable in the CDL era. If you look at the numbers, and this year's FaZe are just as good, if not better. And they're playing against probably better competition. So, yeah, I can't see a world where FaZe don't win 2 of the last 3 events. And they might win all 3.
Trey has kept quiet, man. He says he's always right. Are you going to sit this one out, bow it out completely, 100%, not give us anything? A little bit of cheese, provolone, mozzarella, a little parmesan on top of the pizza, please?
I mean, Rap just cooked. I mean, I was just listening. I was mesmerized.
I want one quick correction, though. One quick correction. I didn't want to interrupt you because I'm a man of the people. But the map record for MW3 is worse than the CW. Just going to say. 73-29 versus 79-36. So, percentage-wise...
do the percentage. Get the maths.
Is it percentage-wise?
Well, work it out in your head, donkey. Use the maths. It's
do the math. What do you want me to do? 70-29? What the fuck?
Yeah, but it's +6 and then it's +6 and then +7. If you do the percentage, MW3 will be better percentage-wise.
Oh, now we're talking percentage-wise. Okay, gangster. All right, gangster.
Well, I'm not doing map wins. That doesn't matter. I mean, okay, let me calculate the percentage. Or, you know, maybe I'll do it in my head.
He just goes, calculate, you donkey.
Yeah, calculate with my calculator. I'm going to pull out my pocket. What the fuck? No.
Oh, I know I'm
calculation.
Right, so it's all good.
Yo, Rab's actually cooked this whole seg. I can't lie.
Yeah, he's been frying. I'm like, yeah, I'll give it to him. Once he called me a donkey, that was literally the cherry on top of the sundae. It was just a straight dub right there.
I didn't call you a nugget though, so you got away with it.
Did you see that though? I was mesmerized the whole time. I didn't even blink. I was locked in. He finished it by calling you a donkey because you were wrong. And
wait, am I actually wrong though? Are the numbers? Who's correct? No one ever actually said who's correct here.
I mean, I know I'm right, but let me I'm gonna do this to show my phone.
I'm doing it right now. I'm literally doing it as we speak. 0.39.
Figure it out, but it's like
MW3 is better. It's MW3 is better.
2.5.
72 versus 69%. Yeah, of course.
2.5.
They've done it in the chat.
Okay, yeah. MW3 percentage-wise is better, but more map wins on CW. Series record the same. 3-0 sweeps though is very important. Yeah, and they have an opportunity with 3 more events, champs, 2 more Major 3, Major 4, to actually have a better overall year.
Yeah, you donkey.
Nugget, donkey. Dude, this show is just rolling out the lingo, man. Mozzarella, provolone, cheese. Let's go, boys.
At least Rab's giving PG. I would have said something a bit more out there.
I got to respect my guy, like, because look, he can't count because he's got so many racks. He's forgotten how to count. You know
my mind is only calculates stocks and racks. That's all I got. Stocks and racks. Anything else, I'm checked out.
76 and 29 didn't mean anything to you. That's petty numbers for you. If it was in the millions, you'd have been on there.
Oh, 76 million and 29 million? I got this shit. No worries, guys. But basically, FaZe, no competition. OpTic is the only one left. I don't know who beats them. Toronto, though. Yeah, the Toronto thing, I just want to say one quick thought about it, and I'm passing you guys for one quick thought. You do believe that they come back and are competitive at Major 3, or do you think these new maps don't favor them, and it's kind of like a new map set cheese, game strat cheese? Do you think they're going to catch up as far as they've fallen behind now? Because Major 2 wasn't that great either. They were good, but they weren't in the top 2 conversation. They didn't make it past, right? They were looking clearly below Major 2, and Major 3 looks like to be setting up the same way. Can they make up the gap difference in these next few weeks?
Well, what did I say to you after Major 1, Ace? They won't be as good as they were in Major 1. They literally had the most perfect COD I've ever seen anyone play. And then guess what happens? Spawns change, map change. Guess who's complaining on Twitter all the time? Toronto are complaining on Twitter all the time. Guess what I said about that? If they carry on complaining and make it look like, even when they win, they were complaining, they're just going to keep, dwelling behind. Guess what? Trey's not worrying again. It's just a big old show of Trey and Ace is right. Rab's always wrong. And,
Rab be cooking, though. Rab do cook, though.
But that's my point. It's ever since Major 1 happened, it was the most perfect COD you've ever seen anyone play. And even though FaZe just won the last event, they didn't look great. They looked good, but they didn't look great. We even said this before. OpTic said that they just had world star series, but now they're just playing really well as a team, and you can see it in front of your own 2 eyes. Toronto on the other hand, I feel like they complained a lot about the spawns. They didn't get better as a team, and now they're suffering with Envoy not playing his best COD, Insight, slowly falling off, and Scrap's just there doing what Scrap usually does, and CleanX doing what he usually does too. And it's going to be hard, especially on Hardpoint. It's hard to figure out Hardpoint. S&D, I feel like, is one of those ones where it's easier to figure out. Hardpoint, on the other hand, especially with how they're playing it, and with Envoy's lack of kills, it's not helping them whatsoever. So maybe if they have a major dodgy major free, we might see potentially a roster change over there. Potentially.
That's a question, actually.
That's a big one.
Because I would never have really predicted a world that any of these teams make changes before the end of the year. But there is a world in which both Subliners and Ultra bow out of Major 3. Obviously, it's going to be Ultra's home event so emphatically that they might think, shit, this might not be enough right now. And I don't know what you do at that point, obviously, because you can't just go and steal Simp off FaZe as much as you'd like to. So realistically, probably they won't do anything. But if it gets that bad, you're trying to win champs at the end of the day. And if you can't win champs, and if you have no confidence that you're going to be able to do it because of how good FaZe are, at least for OpTic, they know that they're better than Ultra. They know they're better than New York. And they'll think, eventually we're going to figure out a way to beat FaZe. And I feel like they will beat FaZe once. And it's probably going to be at the grand finals of one of these events, to be honest, based on the way these teams are currently looking. But I don't think it's possible to figure out FaZe. I saw some people commenting that on my video saying well, once OpTic figure out FaZe, then they're going to be winning. I'm I don't think you just figure out FaZe. It doesn't really work like that when you've got a team that's this good, right? So
it made me laugh when all the everyone's like, oh, but they played it close versus FaZe. Yeah, they always do, but they never win. I said OpTic are that one win away from beating FaZe. That's when FaZe will start. That's when we'll start seeing OpTic beat them more. They are that one win away from FaZe to them taking an event. And until they get that, I just don't see it. They just choke versus FaZe every single time.
FaZe are definitely the team to beat. Speaking on the roster change possibility, man, I don't know if we can drop Envoy for who. Hixie would be your only possible choice because he's close to the camp. But even then, I don't know if you can go back on that decision. And secondly, Envoy is just too talented of a player to not come out of the slump, in my opinion. He's had slumps in other years, maybe not as bad as right now in his respawn kind of slump he's in. But you got to expect a player that caliber is going to figure his way out, make it out. Will Toronto be competitive with the top 2? That I'm going to bow out of. I'm going to leave that to you guys to cook. You guys cooked already enough on that. I'm going to bow out of. But in terms of player changes, I don't think we see any changes on NY or Toronto at all to the end of the year. But I want to jump to this tier list because speaking on the kind of the strengths and the weaknesses of each team, where do we think teams fall on a tier list if we were to make one, or a comment on this one, reviewing who do we think is S, who do we think is D in the CDL right now? Do we agree with CDL Scrimless tier list here?
I mean, this is pretty good, to be fair. I mean, we can start from the bottom. What do you think?
Recency bias, though.
Yeah, a bit of recency bias, I will say. But starting from the
If
bottom,
you think I'm really not putting Seattle in C just yet.
I agree.
But they did just beat New York, so you might have to.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think Surge are better than Gorillas. I think they're better than Boston. I think they'd be better than Heretics on LAN. So, like, I kind of want to... I don't think... Maybe Surge are still D tier, but they're, like, top of D tier. But I think everybody else is probably a tier above.
Might have to whack New York in C tier, Loki.
That's what I kind of wanted to say too, Trey. It's like,
yeah, this is the question,
I want an F tier here because there's not enough tiers. I think we need one more F tier to like really establish it out. Because in that case, I would put Boston and LAG in F tier, right? I would put them a little bit lower. Miami and Surge, I would probably put in D tier. Thieves, Ravens, Rokkr, and Subliners, I would probably put in C tier, with Subliners definitely being at the front of that. Don't get me wrong. Definitely in the front of that list. Ultra B tier, OpTic, FaZe. That kind of would be my route.
I just struggle putting Seattle in C tier just because they've won 2 matches. I really do.
I'm not going to lie. It's always online cheese. Like, I always try not to think too much about online, but you can't really avoid it. So
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, come on, bro. We put in Surge of in, like, you know, we doing this.
Yeah, this fast is a little OD. It's a little too much. It's
so again 4-4. I mean, there's also
we've just deemed them the worst team in the game last season, last major, and now they're, you know, above LAG. Just got top 6 twice at both majors. Like, come on, bro. I'm not buying it, bro. I'm not allowing it.
That is fair. That is fair enough, actually.
But
But LAG haven't won a map yet, though.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say so. Like, online matters a lot. First off, secondly, I just want to say that Surge, it is a different look to them now, right? New player coming in, people on their proper roles. The possibility for them to make it out of F tier in my list is finally there. But we do need more than, I think, 2 matches for them to be above Miami, Boston, and LAG. It's a little OD for them to be in C with amongst that caliber of team. It's a little too soon. A little too soon, in my opinion. Everything else, though, I think looks in line. I think the tier list makes sense. Pretty overall. Any other changes? Any other swaps here that we would make?
I guess people are debating whether New York are better than Ultra or whether they're not, just because New York did beat Ultra and outplace them back at Major 2. Because Ultra were 4th and New York were 3rd.
Do I see Ultra losing to Seattle, though?
That's not what I said, but I see what you're saying. You're comparing the 2.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I mean...
Because listen, losing a control to Seattle might automatically put you F tier.
I think Ultra are better than New York. Like, Ultra are better than New York against the teams that they're better than, I think. Like, I have more faith in Ultra to win the series against the C and the D tier teams than I do against the Subliners right now. But maybe that doesn't matter when you get to the major. This is the point that I'm saying. Like, I don't think in Toronto the top 4 are going to be FaZe, OpTic, Ultra, New York. Maybe we get 3 of them in there. Probably we get 3 of them in there. Because OpTic and FaZe are guarantees, I would say. But there's a chance that Ravens, Thieves, you know, maybe Rokkr, if you're according to Ace, sneak in there. I think it's definitely possible. I mean, they did it at Major 1, so what can I say?
Yeah.
Like, I think that will happen. I think one of those teams is going to get upset. And that's the thing. Like, if New York, theoretically, they turn up to Toronto and they get top 12, like, are they still sticking it out at that point?
If you get top 12... One second. You gotta blow it up at that point. It's GG's at that point. If you get top 12 twice in 1 year, I think at that point, even though you're the caliber of player that you have amongst individually, you have to consider something else, bro. Like, you just have to. There's no, like, if you could stick it out, you could try to, which they may, but the realistic choice has to be to try to make some swaps and figure it out from there, because it's just not working if you're top 12.
Ravens a shit ton of money for Gwyn. I've actually seen this going around on the Reddit. Somebody was like, if you're Ravens and you get offered 350k for Gwyn, do you take it? I'm like, well, firstly, that ain't happening. But imagine it did happen. Imagine like Toronto came along and they were like, Envoy's shit in the sheets, we're getting Gwyn.
No, they're not selling. They're not.
Know.
I think Gwyn's, I'm going to assume Gwyn's on a 1+1. They're not getting rid of Gwyn for anything.
It's Ravens, bro. Like, that would fund your facility.
They're not getting rid of Gwyn for anything. Any amount of money. I guarantee it. You have him on a rookie.
Number,
you have him on a rookie contract for another year. He's not going nowhere. He's staying on that team for at least another year. 100%.
Nah, he's getting bought out.
He's probably on the min.
That's what I'm saying. He's on a rookie contract for 2 years. They're not letting that kid with that caliber talent go for at least another year, for sure, no doubt.
Nah, someone comes along and they offer the bag. Like, Ravens ain't Surge. Like, they ain't turning down any money to keep Octane or to keep Pred. Like, if
To be
Ravens
fair,
get a good offer,
they do owe some money to my boy Dominate, and they do owe me
that's
about
what I'm
$2,000.
saying.
They might need.
They owe money to the boys.
They
sell
do.
Gwyn and pay the boys out.
That is true.
But no one's going to buy him. But Toronto, they're talking about not only if they got their refund from the league, they've also got another, I don't know, couple million in the bank or whatever they're getting, because they're getting some upfront payment for Q3 or whatever they said. Like, they're getting some payment from the league for Q2. So they've, their bank accounts looking tasty.
Like I said, when the Pred thing got announced that people wanted to buy him and they didn't sell, and Seattle didn't sell them, that's if Seattle sold him there and then, we would see people being bought out in the league. But because that didn't happen, we won't see no one getting bought out from the contracts in the league. I'm sorry, it just won't happen.
Yeah, someone needs to pull the trigger on some trades. Someone needs to pull the trigger on some buyouts. Someone needs to pull the trigger on something interesting to happen to get this top-heavy league more balanced out. That's all I gotta say. Get it expanded. Get it right. Guys, if there's any questions in the chat, please drop them right now. Any final questions, Q&A, we'll answer 2 or 3 of them before we go it off. So throw some questions in the chat real quick.
I just want to say this: everyone that says these orgs are broke, they're not broke. They are far from broke. They've got bread upon bread upon bread.
But the ones that are funded by the billionaire sports people have,
yeah. Well, they spend,
and they get all their money back from the thing. So
yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say too. It's not like they're down 27 mil now. They're quite frankly up.
That balance sheet is looking nice right now. All fees returned, all that money, that debt is gone from your balance sheet. It's looking nice. It should be looking really nice. And that's why I was excited last show about salaries going up, players coming back in, buyouts happening. There's more potential, more money finally in the league for a resurgence of, I don't know, interesting things to happen, like players to get signed to other orgs besides the top 4.
I just saw someone as well saying that needs to be a salary cap in the league. There was a salary cap. Guess what? People don't give a fuck about the salary cap because you only have to pay the extra on the salary. So if you mess up the salary
or whatever,
yeah, if you mess up the salary by 100k, you only have to pay 100k to the other teams. And if you're paying 2 mil for a team, I don't think you give a fuck.
I have a question for you guys. Does Hydra stay on the Subliners next year?
I think he's solidified on there, to be honest with you, bro. I don't listen. Does he join FaZe for a BZ or Sim? No.
Nope.
Does he go on OpTic for Pred or Shotzzy?
It's plausible.
No. I don't think it is.
I mean, they wanted him. It was gonna happen.
They wanted him, but then
they run it back.
I don't see it happening.
No. The reason I'm gonna back up why it's not possible here, because who's having more success, thereby who's gonna keep who. That's why I'm kind of running with this. The duo is working, right? Pred and Shotzzy work well with each other. They're having more success generally this year. Does Hydra come in and make them that much better? And then wait. Secondly, though, are you gonna drop Pred for Hydra or are you gonna drop Shotzzy for Hydra? So that decision itself is OpTic.
Well, that's obvious.
Is OpTic gonna drop their biggest brand player for Hydra? I don't know about that.
It's not even just OpTic, but like, I mean, I would. Like, if I could, I don't know. If I could trade Hydra for Pred right now, I'd do it.
Really?
I think Hydra's better than Pred.
I disagree.
I think Hydra's better than Pred, like in terms of gameplay wise.
No, I think MW2. That's pretty clear cut. That was a legendary performance out of Hydra for that entire game. But in general, I don't know if I say Hydra is better than Pred. I think you're swapping in a queen on a chessboard for a queen on the chessboard. Not to call them queens, but you know what I'm saying? It's the same type of player that you're swapping in. So is that going to be the big difference maker? If, in my opinion, you put Hydra and AG on the same team somehow, they could work well with each other because it's so much intelligence happening. But in this case, on OpTic, you'd have to get rid of Shotzi. I just don't see that happening for that possibility. But Hydra to Ultra, now that's something interesting right there. That's a conversation to be had if I was Paco. Or bringing Scrap to New York. That could.
I mean, New York do have some money back.
That could be wild.
Lie.
I feel like the only person that would actually leave there, like that would try and force a way out is probably Scrap.
I mean, he tried to last season. We think they were trying to hold him hostage, and then they decided to actually spend some money and get some good teammates.
The only person I can see like willing to leave their teams. Well, obviously everyone would leave for OpTic. Let's not get that.
That's just fact of the matter, yeah.
If that's not the option, I could see Scrap joining, New York up with especially Hydra, Scrap, Skies, Hydra, and then I assume they'd probably get a sub player too.
I mean, that's what I think. Like, okay, let's say this season ends and OpTic and FaZe are like 1A, 1B. Like, they split events. Maybe FaZe win champs, OpTic are seconds, OpTic win Major 4, FaZe are seconds. Same shit at Major 3, let's say. Clearly, Ultra and... So OpTic and FaZe might both stick it out at that point. Or if OpTic want to make a move, let's say OpTic don't win an event, despite getting very close. Given the history of COD, they might think, we got to do something. You're looking at Scrap, you're looking at Hydra as two of the players you might target. But if both of those teams do well, they split events, they both stick, which is possible, although I wouldn't say I think it's especially likely. I think that Ultra and Subliners, one of those teams has to try and form a God squad, combining the two teams. Where it is, I don't know. But like, one of those teams, if OpTic and FaZe stick, has to end up with Scrap and Hydra. Like, that's just what they have to do.
So listen,
one thing exactly bouncing off of that. Sorry, Scrap and Hydra, or Dashy and Hydra, or Kenny and Hydra. Because I think Scrap, if he gets free agented and he comes out, he's not going to anyone else but OpTic. My opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the conversation should be Hydra and not Scrap. It should be Hydra and somebody from OpTic.
I don't necessarily think that's true. I think if FaZe and OpTic get finals at champs, I don't see them two changing.
I don't see FaZe changing at all, by the way. At all. Even if they get second, if they get... It doesn't matter. I think they don't change no matter what.
I think if OpTic and FaZe get first and second at champs, I don't see them changing at all, which then means, Scrap isn't going to get put onto OpTic. And this is just my opinion. You can disagree with me if you want. I don't see them, if they don't want to change, I don't see Scrap getting on OpTic, even though they could, try and like make it work, whatever like that. But then I do see Scrap or Hydra leaving New York and just go into them two team with each other.
That's fair. In that universe,
what if we get expansion and some other big dog comes in?
Well, that's when I
Sentinels wants the bag on somebody. You know what I'm saying?
That's when I make my return, Rab. That's when I make my return, and you lose a co-host.
What the fuck?
Oh no!
Unfortunately, boys, it's a long time coming. The kid's back.
We announced the unretirement of Trey Zero, just like that, live on air. Be a banger show.
Some of these kids I used to slam back in the day getting too much recognition. It's time to put them back in their place.
Hydra, Gwyn, Scrap, and a fourth. I don't know. That's my team right there. If I was gonna take.
It's funny how these theorizings or whatever we want to say wouldn't have even been a thing like 3-4 weeks ago. But all of a sudden, Toronto and New York have fallen off to such an extent that we've already, understandably, got to consider what they're going to think to do in the off-season.
I mean, bro, I'm going to be real. We're one bad event away from it happening.
Yeah, honestly.
That's true. We also...
how did they do at their major last year? Did they...
Toronto, second or third?
A Major 5. They didn't. Yeah, maybe they were second or something. Maybe they weren't great because OpTic had a shit. Like OpTic were dead last in Toronto last year, Major 5.
That's my point though. Is like,
New York
you know,
won the
we spoke about this
Maybe
major
Jay's
too.
in the
Was like,
finals.
we spoke about this major too. Was like, oh, it's probably not even worth talking about. But we are one bad result away from 2 bad teams. Well, top 4 teams that are not doing so good right now. We're probably one bad event away from a roster change.
Yeah, I think it was third.
Yeah.
So I think
second or third.
I don't even think it's a terrible conversation to have, really. I just don't know who you get.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. At the end of the day, I think this show predicted it pretty right early on that once OpTic and FaZe kind of got settled in this game, and it wasn't just the start of the game cheese, first major cheese, that there was a clear separation of individual talent on those 2 teams. I think Toronto's probably the most unexpected drop-off for everyone, but we kind of said that OpTic and FaZe were just on a different level, and just it was going to take time for them to separate themselves from the pack as the game progressed and as time went on. But everyone's going to have their own opinions, whether you're an OpTic fan, FaZe fan, whether you think Scrap and Hydra or this and that with these team changes, whether you agree with the tier list that we have up and what we said or not. Hey, man, that's what makes the Call of Duty community great, that we can all have these different opinions. And at the end of the day, we just got to get to the matches, get to the majors, and see what happens, right? This Friday, Dope Check pre-show. We're live before the matches, an hour and a half every Friday before the matches start. We're going over all the matches of the weekend, the previews, the predictions, the prize picks, all the good stuff you love to see. Guys, Dope Check, we appreciate you guys for all the support. The video's been doing great. We love you guys. The community's been so supportive. Appreciate everyone on who come to Twitch, YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, all the love in the world. From us, from me, Tac Rab, and Trey Zero, thank you for watching Dope Check episode 17. We will catch you guys next week, same time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. West Coast time, and 9 p.m. GMT for Dope Check episode 18. Maybe some special guests. Maybe Gunless will come on next week. Who knows? You got to come to see. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.